Kia ora and good evening. Welcome along to Wednesday night. Welcome along to July, 1st of July. Shout out to my brother. Happy birthday, Andrew. But we are here on LPL Pro with Rainbow Six Siege. My name is Matt Smite Ross. Mr. Cthulhu is going to be here. We're going to be taking you through some Rainbow Six Siege action. We are halfway through week number 3, which means we're going to round out 2 more games, Cthulhu. But we're pretty far into the season now. I mean, we're not all the way there yet, but we've got some good games under our belt so far. So, how are you feeling?
I mean, honestly, so far, the whole season has been bringing in quite some fire to the whole LPL Pro, and really, the heat is only ramping up from here on.
Yeah, and you know what? We had games last night as well, so I want to take a look at those just to get you guys up to speed of where we are in week number 3. So last night, Bance got their much-needed 2-0 up against Bless, nabbing themselves 3 whole points. And then we had Exto Gaming getting themselves an even arguably more important 2-0 as they grabbed themselves 3 points and shot themselves all the way up to the top of the leaderboard against PC419. So with that all said and done, Cthulhu, let's take a look at the leaderboard. See where everyone is. Just like I was saying, you've got Exto Gaming, 9 points. 9 points. That's 5 points ahead of Skyfire and Bazaar, who, spoiler alert, are our first match. And even after tonight, they cannot overtake Exto. So a pretty rough spot for them. But, they're still pretty comfy up at the top, but tailed by Bance and Ferox and PC419, only a point or 2 behind. And then ShadowNet and Bless, unfortunately, all the way at the bottom, but at least they picked up some points. So they're still technically in this. They're still able to make it out of here.
Oh, yeah, there's going to be a fair few storylines forming in here for all of the teams really here. The big one at the moment coming through is the battle of the 2 giants within the top 3 board is the Skyfire versus Bazaar, and whoever's going to be winning is going to be potentially the ones that will be contesting Exto further down the line. But then there's also the battle for the bottom of the leaderboard, and that is also going to be quite a show match, really, I reckon. So both of those are going to be really close.
Yeah, and they're going to be affected by tonight's matches too. Obviously, Bazaar versus Skyfire is really going to show us how the top 3 is going to shake up. But then later on tonight, we got ShadowNet versus Ferox. This is going to be a bit more of a David and Goliath. But if ShadowNet can pull out something a little magical, then maybe we can have a bit of a shake up near the bottom of the table. But really, it's about Ferox needing to snag a 2-0 here to shoot themselves up the top of the leaderboard. But let's shuffle back a little bit here, Cthulhu, because Bazaar versus Skyfire. That's the first one. And first up, I want to tell you about someone else that's going to be really interested in this match, Exto Gaming. Because they're sitting so nice and pretty at the top, you might, these guys are invincible, but had arguably the easier matches so far. Later on, they'll have to play both Skyfire and Bazaar, and that could be a disaster. However, if today Bazaar and Skyfire is a draw, they only walk away with 1 point each, making it that much harder to overtake first place.
Yeah, for both of these teams, they will be searching for that 2-0. Anything else is really not an option. And I definitely think that this is going to be probably one of the rather closer matchups so far, given that both of those teams are sitting on the same amount of points. And the only difference within the current leaderboard is the run differential. So keen to see how this will be played out.
Yeah, and that one might be a factor a little later on, but tonight's match, let's take a look at who they're going to be bringing to the field. First up, it's Bazaar. I mean, this team, we all know it's been the same since last season. Ghoul, AFX, Twent, BB, and President. I think they've had some subs listed at some point, but it looks like they're just sticking with the full tried and true roster that has seen some pretty good success.
Yeah, Bazaar stuck through with their old roster, they've proven quite a fair few people that, and especially us casters as well, in the previous season, that they were able to bring in quite a few really close games there. And even though they didn't really make it anywhere further than, I believe, the quarterfinals at the end of the last season, this time they're looking at making it all the way to the finals, maybe.
Yeah, well, one of their biggest barriers to that is going to be Skyfire, and that's all going to be done here tonight. And their roster, it's going to be Archie, Smacker, Jigsaw, Kubra, and Sequence. Now, we've also talked about these guys having a similar roster, but they have changed things up since last season.
Yeah, a few changes here and there, but it seems that those were the much needed changes, really. Skyfire, last season, they didn't really get a whole lot of action after they got into the bottom of the leaderboard last season, so this time they're all fully refreshed, kind of arising almost, you could say, from the old ashes.
Yeah, I mean, this time they've had some pretty fantastic matches. This is where they can really start to shoot ahead. But Cthulhu, we're going to talk about where they're going, because we got two pretty familiar maps here, Coastline and Villa. First up, it's going to be Coastline, which was picked up by Skyfire, and then Villa by Bazaar, obviously. So you had something to say about these map vetoes, so I want to touch on that real quickly before we jump in. Coastline and Villa, I mean, are these the maps that the teams want?
Partially. I mean, at the very least, the Coastline is the main kind of map for Skyfire here. This is one of their main one where they perform the best, and they pick it frequently. The only issue that it poses for them later on is that there's a whole lot of vault material. But apart from that, really, Villa is a bit of an odd pick for me, because this was the Bazaar's pick, and Villa is not particularly the better map, at least so far statistically, for them. It's mainly their kind of round trade central, rather than, say, maps like Clubhouse, where they're able to really ramp up the momentum in their favor, where they're able to really get some really confident wins.
Does it maybe suggest, though, that they've worked something out over the week? Maybe they've got something a little better on Villa, or maybe they've just tightened everything up so that those round trades become just round streaks, and maybe they can pull it out. But we will be going to Villa second tonight, guys. First up, it's going to be Coastline, and we're pretty ready to get in there. And, you know, as soon as the players are ready, we'll be jumping into the map. First up being on Coastline. This is going to be a pretty excellent one, because like you said, it's Skyfire is one of their best, most successful maps. So it's really going to test Bazaar here. They're walking into this pick completely by Skyfire. But the question is, are they prepared enough? Because they've seen them play on Coastline before.
Yeah, they did play some rounds on the Coastline before, and while they were able to pull out a dub there, it was a little bit shakier comparative to, say, like I mentioned before, Clubhouse. So this is the map where they kind of confident, probably not as confident as, say, Skyfire, but I definitely reckon we might be seeing potentially overtime. If not, then at the very least, the scoreline will be somewhere across the lines of 7-5.
Yeah, and then there's the fact that the first map win is going to be super important, because now we're going to talk about the result. A 2-0 from tonight's series means that they don't overtake Exto, but they put themselves in contention, right? That makes them 2 points behind instead of 5. So it's doable, right? You get a 2-0, they get a 0-2, then you can overtake them. If both teams draw tonight, they're instead only 4 points behind, and again, impossible to overtake Exto. So Exto are definitely really gunning for a draw here, but for the teams that are playing tonight, Bazaar and Skyfire, it all starts with the first map. They need that 2-0 to contest the first place spot, because realistically, why else are you here if you're not gunning for that first place spot?
Exactly. This is the main objective really here for Bazaar and Skyfire, and this is one of their kind of chances to really break out of what the kind of slow down that they had in the previous week. This is where they need to really make the points work for themselves. This is where they need to really get the game on for themselves as well, given that, so far they were given fairly one-sided kind of matchups for themselves, minus their previous draw, but this is where this is their proving ground.
Yeah, and we're just about through the bans here, and already something interesting popping up, at least to me here, Cthulhu, is the Jackal getting banned out, and is even maybe sparking a little bit of chat here in the game. So do you want to talk us through why is Jackal a bit of a surprise? Why is it creating all this talk here?
I mean, Jackal he's a very good operator right now with his loadout, with his utility, He's got the smoke grenades. He's able to track down the aromas. Both of his fully automatic weapons are just absolutely amazing. And him being banned out, that means that could be either partially an aimed ban at one of the players, or rather is just one of the teams don't want to really bother with playing against the Jackal. Meanwhile, there was also another one that I wanted to touch up is the Capitao ban, which is not usually seen on Coastline, but when he is, that means that there's just going to be general disruption for the smoke plants for the attack.
Yeah, well, luckily for old mate Sequence here, he's going to not have to worry about all of that. He's going to pick up the smoke here as the 6th pick. We've also got one of the newer operators, Iana, popping her head in too. So this one is, it's an operator that teams have actually been a lot more comfortable jumping on. I think it's a little more consistent and maybe even a little more mistake friendly if things go a little wrong. It's pretty hard to mess up the illusion. However, you do manage to get like quite a lot of info if you are able to run it correctly, if you are able to use it with the big brain in your head. So definitely something for players to show off on, but I think it still gets some pretty good value even if it doesn't really work out to the top of the level it can be.
Yeah, Iana should allow a fair bit of information gathering as well, given that she doesn't really run out of her drones or holograms. They just recharge continuously, and if she manages to back out before the hologram gets shot, then she gets a much quicker cooldown as well. So here it's all in the finger work for Bizarre here.
Yeah, well, with all that, we've got our operators set up, we've got the defense already prepped and ready to go, so it's time for Bizarre to come and knock down on the front door, or the wall, or the floor, or the roof, and find their way in to the first round here. And this is all thanks to WD Black for loading us up nice and quickly onto the map here with some of the fastest SSDs that I know. So shout out to those guys for sponsoring the event here. But Cthulhu, round number 1 here, we're almost a minute into it, and we're taking a look at Bizarre. Really, they're just making their way through a few of the rooms. Shouldn't be too hard. If you've got President here on Iana, can scout out a few rooms a little easier than most, but going to be walking into the room and is going to get caught out here. What's going on? Nah, he's just managed to check out what's going on. Look at all that information he's got now.
Yeah, this is going to be plentiful right now, actually, and Archie is about to get a little bit spooked here, but the run out, didn't really work out. He did deal quite a hefty amount of damage to Twin, but apart from that, nothing too serious. Ghoul on the opposite side does manage to find another shot onto Sequence, and well, that roam is slowly all falling apart. All down to Smacker to really wreak some havoc on the second floor, but apart from that, Kubrian and Jigsaw are the last men standing here in round number 1.
Yeah, and going to be pretty hard to pull the win out here. So already a really great execution by Bizarre. I mean, President setting it up with the Iana Scout. But here we go. Let's see if they can make it happen here. Smacker, and Jigsaw sitting on the site. We haven't had the plant just yet, so Bizarre still going to take this a little slow. They're not going to put the pressure onto Skyfire just yet. They know that a 3v5 can go completely wrong if they don't take it carefully. So you never want to walk into that situation and just get ripped apart when you've got the numbers advantage. So just going to take it slowly, clear out all of the utility. They've already got the locations down. You can see the pings coming out too. So here we go. Smacker starts the comeback, but Ghoul shuts it down just as quickly. And even from above, Smacker, he's trying to still look for something. Same with Jigsaw. The plant has still not gone down yet, Cthulhu. It looks like it's going to connect just now, and really, here comes hard mode. Jigsaw and Smacker 2v4 with the plant down.
Yeah, Smacker had a really good drop, but wasn't able to really emphasize his frags on that position. Will be instead rather be trying to get some frags going up from the top floor, but Jigsaw is the one to claim the kill onto AFX. Now in a 3v2 in a post-plan, things are going to be looking a little bit dicey, given the fact that Twint is still watching fairly far away from Sunrise, and Ghoul and Scissor are playing fairly carefully, really. They're just waiting for Skyfire to really make the push onto them.
Yeah, and here comes the push as well. Smacker has already fallen. The timer running out, and so are the life bars. Jigsaw's going to fall. That one pretty much sealed after those 2 kills earlier on by Bizarre. I just want to shout out their opening into it. I mean, they just completely trapped down, I think it was Archie, right on the inside, right in the corner after scouting him out with Iana. So President scouting that one out, definitely helping it. And then across the map as well, they got, I believe it was Ghoul picking that one up. So just those 2 kills made it so easy to execute at the end there. So a really strong opening by Bazaar. Let's see if Skyfire will be able to shut it down. Ayana's going to be coming out again probably, which means that hopefully they don't get caught out by the same situation.
Yeah, cool thing about Ayana right now is the fact that she has the frag grenades right now on her, as well as that her loadout with the weapons is a pretty stable one. I mean, the ARX is a great weapon. Same goes for G36, albeit probably not as many people would use that weapon on Ashe, since her R4C is a much better choice. But here it's a bit of a rather more of a just a question of preference, really. Do you want slightly less damage but more rounds, or do you want the higher rate of fire but slightly less rounds in a mag? So it's a bit of a rather question of how, I guess, accurate you are, or just how aggressive do you want to play.
Yeah, well, I mean, we can already see Bazaar is not super aggressive. They push their positions pretty slowly, but very methodically, at least in round 1. They got all the information that they needed, and then they made the attempt. And, I mean, it's as simple as that. There's really not much else to say about it. So, Bazaar's aggression, it's at least not rearing its head just yet, at least not on attack. So, let's see what happens again. I imagine we're going to see a very similar thing. You've got President who's able to scout out very hard, very easily with Iana, so should be pretty hard for them to catch up.
That is a nasty long angle that Smack actually got for himself here. So Skyfire already making some amends with their operator choices, knowing how methodical some of the pushes from Bazaar are. They were just, playing really, really passive, at least potentially for this round, which could potentially actually net them the win in the round, or at least the win in the gunfights. First information to go on to Scissor, that he just went and pushed through into Aquarium, will be coming out. And same now, Scissor knows about the general positioning of Jigsaw, but what they don't know is about that Doc, at least, well, up until now.
yeah, now they've caught him out. The question is, do they see his massive angle that he's got? Because it looks like he's still sitting kind of close, so Smacker might be able to find something with that. But here we go. We've got Bazaar moving in a little more. President going to just go in, have a little bit of a look-see. He sees a cheeky little hole in the wall, so they definitely know something's going on there. But nothing else to seen, so just confirming that next room should be safe. But Ghoul, he may not be so lucky. Ku, though, manages to grab a sick little C4 kill in the background. Sequence following it up onto AFS2. It's a disaster right now as Bazaar gets melted by Skyfire right now, and only President remains. But it's surely a pipe dream right now as he turns the corner and should be met with a hail of bullets. Skyfire even it up with a flawless round.
Yeah, Skyfire's response here was definitely a much better showcase than what we technically saw from Bazaar. As, Skyfire just managed to kind of almost lure in the roster of Bazaar, and just the moment the lure was taken, the bait was taken, and, well, the trap pretty much snapped shut, and, that's pretty much the whole round, really.
Yeah, and there's a good reason for it, too. Bazaar took it nice and slow. They made it very obvious what was going on in the first round, and, it worked. But then Skyfire said, okay, cool, great, you won that one, but if you try it again, we're going to be very ready for it, and we're going to play appropriately. And that's kind of what happened there. They got baited into it. They walked into C4, and then after that, I mean, we all kind of know how it went from there. But that was round 2, Cthulhu. Because we're here in round 3. We like to mix things up. We like to add a little bit of spice. Because round 3 is always one of my favorite ones to go in. It's where we really get to see someone take a hit.
Yeah, this is one of the few first rounds where teams will start adjusting already for some of the pacings. Now that both Skyfire and Bazaar managed to get a taste of each other's plays and each other's medicine, now they're going to start making the adjustments and making the different moves here to kind of essentially counter the plays of each one another. So should be interesting to see how will both of the teams really approach here now that Skyfire kind of figured out the general pacing that Bazaar will be bringing in here.
But that was on two similar, or the same sites, right? So Skyfire maybe have to change it up a little bit, but you can see the slight adjustment. They've thrown in the rooks, so now their firepower and just general fire fights are going to be a whole lot better with all that added armor on top. So Skyfire, looks like they're looking for a similar plan. Maybe we see a bit of roaming out from Jigsaw here, but other than that, they should be hunkering down, anchoring down, and again, waiting for Bazaar to walk into their line of fire.
Yeah, interestingly enough, actually, Skyfire are fairly frequent pickers of Rook and Doc. The French duo with the ACOGs is quite powerful in the hands of those gunners, and well, for any future gunfights, I reckon we will be seeing them pop off quite on a frequent basis. But for the time being, Bazaar are making some different choices as well now that they're having pretty much a three-man push with a live drone up ahead to essentially be able to, at the very least, trade out one-to-one. If not, well, yeah, they still should be able to trade things out. President, to kick things off on the opposite side, was the one that grabbed the kill onto Jigsaw, and that is the Jaeger, that is the roamer in the kitchen, gone.
Yeah, and that's going to be massive because now this three-man squad can breathe a lot easier. They can make these pushes and not constantly have to look over their shoulder. So they've got a lot more room to move around. In fact, even splitting up a bit, you can see AFX has moved away from the group a little bit. They're going to have some trouble trying to push these stairs. Maku, completely blind. He's not going to find any shots at all. He's been pushed all the way down the stairs and has to completely run away with his big, slow armor. Maku, he's going to have to hope that he can find someone as he runs away. He's going to have to hope that this hiding spot is good enough.
Yeah, it was a really well-coordinated push as well, just to force Kubrian out of his position on Cool Vibe stairs. And really, that pretty much allowed Bazaar to start actually applying even more pressure, really, from multiple positions. Now that they have the floor above the site, they have the entrance into the luggage, they have the partially the Cool Vibe stairs. So this is going to be really, really interesting gameplay here to see.
That's a Monka S magnet right there,
Oh,
like the frag grenade. Oh, what are you up to, Archie? Oh no! Unfortunately, he gets shot down before he can make his great escape, but he will be down, so maybe there's some hope. But that's 3 members now of Skyfire that have got to make this defense happen, and all of Bazaar now coming in. Only 30 seconds to go. Twent's got yet another kill, so it looks like it's the cleanup crew just arriving, and Bazaar, well, they've got the newest broom, they've got their Nimbus 2000, the Firebolt, in fact, to clean this whole round up.
Yeah, this is just a full-on cleanup crew, like you said, the perfect kind of name for it. As yeah, Skyfire just didn't have a single bit of just answer for that kind of push, and it seems that the changes that Bazaar made have been pretty much just another way to clap back at Skyfire after a flawless round.
Yeah, honestly, just a real solid round from them. Bazaar, they clear out the Roma right away. They clear out quite a lot of rooms as well. I mean, we saw right at the start, they were running room by room. That's kind of the advantage of having 3 people to run through with the drone. You can always make sure you can clear out each and every room. They had so much space to work with. And then with all the time they bought, all the space they bought, and even the man advantage they bought, it really felt like it was just cleaning it up after that. Even pushing Kubrian all the way back on Rook, that was another big step they took that helped them win. But here we go, Cthulhu. Let's head over to Hooker and Billiards and see if they can make it work again with the Rook Jock combo on defense. They're going to try it again. Mozzie's going to be joining the party this time, though, so maybe denying some of those drones could be what is on the table here, because it did help out Bazaar in that round.
Defenders, protect your bombs from being defused by attackers.
Yeah, for Bazaar, look, I mean, their general just way to organize just the whole push. Like, I gotta commend their push onto the Cool Vibe stairs in the previous round, just to flush out Cool without even firing a whole bunch of shots. Just the bait with Iana that he didn't really fall for, but the fact that he kept on staring right at the stairs as the flashbang went off was really well coordinated. I know it sounds basic as heck, but I loved it. I loved every bit of it, and how Bazaar really did.
It's like that situation is fighting your instinct to then be in a situation that is what the attackers wanted anyway, right? You're staring at the stairs, and normally you want to keep staring because someone's going to follow out and run out because you've been tricked by the illusion or the hologram, but you keep looking and then you get flashed. So it's a real tough situation here, but let's move on to round 4, Cthulhu, because we've already got a little bit of information Skyfire have got, but nothing too crazy. It is going to be Kud just sitting in a similar spot here. Let's see if Bazaar want to go with that squad, clearing out all the rooms one by one once again, but it's not just that squad either. These solo kills are happening onto roamers, onto just people across the other side of the map. And Sequence, he's going to flip the table just a little bit and take out Twint this time. So here we go, Skyfire on the man advantage this time.
That is a naughty angle that Sequence had there in the bar, and that is going to ensure that there's not going to be any pressure really from below, which is quite crucial as well whenever you're able to get some shots and whenever you're about to execute the push onto the side. So yeah, not having that extra avenue for pressure for Bizarre, this is going to be a bit of a pain to deal with, but nonetheless they still have a fair bit of time and a fair bit of utility to really play it out in potentially their favor.
Yeah, well, they've got to do what they were doing before, but faster and with one less member. So we already know that they can play slow. Now the question is, can they play fast and from behind? Otherwise, we may be looking at Skyfire evening it up. So here we go. AFX and the rest of Bizarre just making sure they can move into this room. They've got quite a few rooms droned out, so they're not safe to walk into here. But around the corner is where things are going to get tricky. Archie, though, knows on his health he's going to have to fall back. And with that, it's now just going to be about the push. Yana with the hologram going to come in, check out all the different corners. He's going to see, Archie right around there. Does he get Smacker as well? He just gets so much information. They don't take any shots, though. They don't want to deny it.
They're usually just trying to bank in on the fact that they just will be able to maybe ignore the hologram, and maybe they were expecting some aggression. But fantastic grenade will be downing Sequence once again, and well, this is a good position here. No C4s to be denied, and instead there's going to be a gas grenade to be flying in. The plant will be stuck there as President is taking quite some damage, manages to run away, but oh my goodness, also little health. And on the other side, it's Ghoul trying to contest the angles as well. So here is going to be a bit of a tough one, as there is the flank coming through as well into the south hallway around the luggage. But President, he's playing it cool, he's playing it up close, and well, there's the gunfight coming through. He knows that there's the Rook coming through, and he's about to get pincered, so Ghoul needs to be on his way as quickly as possible, but Doc is just way too powerful there for the push, and well, the air jab will be triggered there. Diffuser will be pretty much attempted to be stuck, but the
Ghoul
flips,
now.
the double kill as well. Ghoul, 1v3 situation. Ghoul is still bleeding out. Sequence is low on health. Archie is gone as well. All up to Sequence to play it out, and well, with 2 seconds remaining, Diffuser is going to be working its magic. Round 4 to go into the hands of Bizarre.
To go in the hands of Ghoulmao as well, pulling out the magic at the end. It was a really tough situation. They were split up. They only had 2 people, one of them on death's door as well, and yet he still comes in right at the end to make some magic happen. So Ghoulmao getting this team that round streak, 3-1 lead right now. That's honestly just such a momentum boost. That was a round that Skyfire surely would have thought they'd won, surely thought they could have at least cleaned it up at the end, and yet to be crushed like that, Bizarre should be on fire and should be feeling pretty great right now, because that is the round that you take to take the momentum and just run the map out of control.
Oh man, yeah, that push by Ghoul was just absolutely phenomenal, swapping around the man advantage directly in his own favor, just by his own plays as well. That flick and the target switch from the Jaeger to the rotating Dock was just absolutely amazing.
Yep, but it's only one round so far. Only one round, which means they've got to keep it going. They've got to make sure that they don't just fall into a slump, they don't let it get to the heads or anything. So Skyfire, again, same thing but opposite. They just need to make sure that they don't let a silly little round like that happen. Yeah, you're going to let clutches happen. It's just the nature of the game. So as long as they can both handle that, both teams can handle that similar but opposite sort of pressure. Hang on, though. Smacker's going to maybe put some pressure of his own on. Let's go, Smacker.
Oh, yeah,
let's see. This is the pressure. He's mad from that last round. He's like, Ghoulmao, you dare cross my team. I'm gonna cheese out a little headshot here, but he will not find anything. There is no one to be found.
I don't think Bizarre actually even falling for that. AFX is actually, just might be able to actually, but no, the timing has been a little bit off here, as AFX will just get a free cheeky drone, and Smacker at this point will be able to fall back to the side, but getting into a little bit of a cheeky gunfight, as he did manage to tag Ghoul up and will be able to heal himself back up. So this is definitely a gunfight in Skyfire's favor.
Yeah, and so now Ghoul's in that situation. He's got to win every single gunfight without being fired back on at all. That's how low his health is going to be. Or maybe he's just going to have to sit back in some team fights here. But the point is here, it's still a 5v5. Both teams can make something happen right now. The clock has run down just a little bit, but Bazaar still have a good amount of time. But they haven't made the usual progress that they have. They've cleared up to about one room and got some presence on the roof here. But I mean, you've got Sequence and Kubrian just sitting in this room here. They've got a great position with plenty of good angles right now. They haven't been pushed or contested really at all.
Yeah, contention is definitely has been on a little bit of a pause. This time, Twent is actually going to be all alive, and we'll be trying to clear out some of the positions of smoke. Oh, Archie getting contested there, but yeah, just can't seem to connect it just yet. But the smoke player is definitely going to be a little bit shook there, just trying to figure out where's the angle, where can I peek that buck, where can I get that frag, as the shotgun actually will be coming through and will be actually quite successful, as Twent will be going down, as meanwhile AFX was able to find another frag.
I just want to point out really quickly before anything happens is that President did something real clever. He droned out through the wall while the defender was being shot through the floor. He was looking in the other spot, so he got a free drone. So I really love that big brain play here. But we're in the final minute here, Cthulhu. Archie's going to smoke up the side, make sure no one can go for a cheeky plant. Ghoul slamming onto Sequence here means that now they've got a pretty sick numbers, not a lead, but they're tying it up just a little bit closer here, trying to drain out some of the ADS, any kind of utility at all on the stairs here. And Ghoul, he's got his own kill, but it's just completely traded back right now. And Ghoul's almost on death's door himself, so he's going to have to be careful during this fight. But Ghoul, he stays alive, and he's on a triple kill again. The absolute hero of Bazaar right now. He can't make it through the entire fight, though, but it doesn't matter. He did his job. He did enough work, and President as well came in to clean it up.
Oh man, yeah, Ghoul has been absolutely just on fire there for the team. 2 rounds in a row, being able to swing the momentum once again back into his favor and his team's favor as well, and pushing it into a 4-1 scoreline. I mean, I was expecting a close game, but I wasn't expecting that Bazaar is just going to be that activated, at least up until now.
And just to think about what that round looks like, if Smacker had killed Ghoul, he dropped him so low at the start of the round, it would have been completely different if there was no Ghoul. Ghoul clutching it out at the end. Not even at the end. I mean, he just was great in firefights all around through it, on almost no health, and he could have been a non-factor. But the important thing is he wasn't. He stayed alive to clutch it out. For the rest of his team, Bazaar, now like you said, that 4-1 lead, that's already a comfortable one, and they have an opportunity here to make it a 5-1 lead. And that is one of the ones that almost no teams will come back from. And I say that, it happened literally twice last season, but you get out of a 5-1 half, Skyfire are really going to be in an impossible situation. So one more chance here to make the half not so bad. They've gone with a similar lineup for a lot of this, but now, I mean, we've got Pulse here in the party too. I think he was around for the last round too, but Kubrian, we got to see these C4s. We got to see at least the intel gathered out, because Bazaar at the moment seem like they can move where they want, and Sky are struggling to stop them doing it.
Attackers are heading out to defuse a bomb.
Yeah, Skyfire here will need to start. I'm not even too sure what particularly they need to do. First of all, probably the better idea will be to shut down Ghoul, then go for President or Twent, and after that, well, really, Bazaar should be falling apart there. Main big player is Ghoul here, and look at this already. Again, a 3-man push here once again. The unkillable trio is right now. There's the trade actually coming through. There's another one peek, and that's Archie gone as well. AFX is just fully activated, and even if he would have gone down, Scissor would have been able to trade him out. But oh man, Scissor just can't seem to connect that shot. But so it's back onto 3-3. But the diffuser has been planted.
Do Bazaar have somewhere to be? Do they have dinner soon? Because they're trying to speed run Skyfire right now. The fight already down, but he's jumping out the window, Smacker. He's mad, he's struggling, but he finds something at least. But it's Bazaar at the end in one of the quickest rounds we've seen so far. A plant in 30 seconds and a clear to follow very shortly afterwards. That was one of the cleanest, well, not cleanest, but quickest rounds we've seen so far.
I didn't even manage to really finish the play-by-play. It's like halfway through my through the sentence whilst they were rushing. I only then realized that they've gotten the plan down. So yeah, Bazaar is just pulling a quickie here, and well, first half in 5-1 whilst they were on attack. That's that's a statement.
I mean, we were just talking about, oh yeah, Ghoul getting a clutch at the end of a round. That's a way to tilt your opponents. But no, it's not. That is a way to tilt your opponents. Just smash them in a round like that. Yeah, it was messy. It could have been completely the other way. But to get the point in that fashion is just one of the best ways you can crush your opponents. And now let's throw something even more fun into the mix. Let's throw Vigil in here too. So now everything's just going to be just so annoying for Skyfire to deal with. You can tell they were trying to deny as much information as possible. Well, Vigil's going to make that really annoying here already.
Yeah, thing is though, Scissor so far hasn't been having a whole lot of success apart from being able to score some objective plays, some assists. Unfortunately, still sitting on a donut, but yeah, he's been still dedicating quite a fair bit of effort for the team. And if he's able to just delay the push in any shape or form by, say, half a minute or a minute, his job is already partially done as a Vigil player. If he is able to get the frags, that's even better. Hey.
I mean, his job starts the second Skyfire know there's a Vigil on the other team. It's just that thought in your head. You have to approach every single drone differently. You have to approach every single corner differently. You have to constantly have your eyes on the back of your head. And it's just super annoying, right? So now they have to suddenly play just a little bit differently here in this round, on the first round on attack, and it matters so much. It matters a lot for them to get the win here. So we're going to kick things off. Smacker just opening up the window here. It looks like it's going to be mostly safe, but he's still a bit cautious about it. Doesn't want to just go in just yet. They've got a ping down there on the stairs, so it looks like they think someone's there, but looks like they've left a long time ago.
Yeah, the window play is going to be huge here for Skyfire, as they need to be a little bit careful about what do they approach. Jigsaw successfully does find the shot onto Twent, so that is the smoke out of all the players, and that is a huge one now that the SAS operator won't be able to deny the plant. So now it's all going to be down to the C4 play of mainly AFX.
Yeah, I mean, look, this is about as good as you can look for a start here. Just going to, again, drain out any kind of utility in the room so they can make their way onto the site, and actually forcing President back a little bit. He's going to need some backup soon. He's got a pretty good angle, but eventually he's going to be looking a little surrounded. You can see the rest of Bazaar looking to come in, but no, Ghoul's been caught out by Jigsaw. They've done what you've asked, Cthulhu. They've taken Ghoul out, so now this should be looking like the rest of the round should be easy enough here. Only 3 members to get through. You've pinned down most of them. Just business as usual here, Skyfire. They just need to not mess it up.
Yeah, well, talking about messing up, President was able to find that long shot onto Kubrian, and that is the Nomad off board. No more Nomad charges, nor the flashbangs, really. So now Smacker will be trying to force that position of the Womai out, but instead it's just going to be the gunfight of Sequence will be getting rid of it. Scissor on the flank does manage to find Archie. That's the diffuser drop, 3 versus 3 as President is still down and Scissor took quite a bit of damage. AFX is the only man that is actually on site to be thrown in the C4. Won't be connecting, actually will be connecting almost as Smacker is so low. Will be actually able to take him down. Now it's a 2v2, a glorified 2v2 as President is still up. And down, really, rather, behind the reinforced wall. So right now, the hunt. Sequence, he wants to find that frag. He wants to get the push happen and really at least claim another point for his team.
Yeah, he's going to peek around this corner, and this may be his doom, or it may be his frag. It looks like it's actually going to be neither, as they do go for the retreat. Bazaar running that clock down. Sequence, he doesn't have time to chase. He's got to go to the site, and so does Scissor have to defend here. He's just holding down the hallway, the corridor, whatever you want to call it. But Skyfire cleaning up the kills. One more. It's just Scissor. He's got 5 seconds to stay alive, but it doesn't matter. The plant's going down, and he's got to go in there and deny it. He's looking at every single corner. He finds the plant. But unfortunately, Skyfire had just got it done and could turn around and rip his head off.
A good recovery by Skyfire. At the beginning, it was looking really nice. Then they had been stumbling and waffling a little bit here and there, but at the end of the round, did manage to finally break the streak, break the pace of Bazaar, and finally get themselves that second point. So from now on, they just might be able to get that recovery going for themselves, but it was quite a challenge, really. I mean, the end of the round being a 2v1, if not for Jigsaw's push with the Ash, it would have been a Bizarre's round for the taking.
Yeah, and I just want to touch on the last round as well, because I said it was, at the 5v3 point, it was Skyfire's game to lose, but it suddenly started looking like Bizarre's game to win. And it wasn't that Skyfire was doing anything, crazy wrong. It was that Bizarre came out with really cool creative plays. That C4 out the window, almost clipping off Smacker, and then he cleaned him up there. They were getting kills that they probably shouldn't have, just by pure good positioning, good hallway angles holding, and all that good stuff. And so Bizarre almost edged that one out. If Skyfire didn't get those 2 kills at the start, then yeah, it should have been an easy win for Bizarre. So again, let's see if they can hold on to at least Ghoul throughout more than half the round here. That should probably be one of the key factors in. But I think that showed that if they lose Ghoul, then it's not so easy for Skyfire to pick up the rest of the round. They're not a one-man army, Bizarre.
Attacker's objective is to defuse a bomb.
Yeah, Bizarre, they just able to either work as a really nice well-oiled machine, or as just each and every player can be that one-man army like you mentioned. So here it's rather just a question of which part of it can be activated quicker here against Skyfire, because whilst on defense they seem to have been completely toothless against most of the pushes, here on the attack they seeming to be able to turn up the heat for at least their first attack round. And let's see if they can keep up the consistency, as the second attack round for them is coming through. And well, for now, a solid bait with the drone will be forcing Ghoul off his CCTV position.
Yeah, it pushes him back a pretty good distance as well, so that's a lot of space. Skyfire now have bought themselves. At least they haven't lost Ghoul, so at least they'll hold on to him for that one. Smacker, again, he loves this window, so he's going to be taking a look through it, seeing if he can find anything, but at the moment, just some angles. The flashes are all coming out too. That's quite a lot. We're just going to be draining out that ADS, making sure that we can chuck a few more things into the room too. So again, right now, it's just Skyfire looking to make the push at the moment. Bizarre have kept all 5 members. We're getting closer to halfway through the round, and I reckon that's where things are really going to start tightening up. Watch out for Ghoul now as well. Let's see if he can stay alive. He sees a few explosions going out, but Jigsaw, he's found Scissor. So again, we've got the start that Skyfire want, but no, hold that thought. Smacker has been traded back.
And trading out Smacker is a good one. That's the fear utility off the board. And now they need to deal with Jigsaw. That Ash player for Skyfire has been an absolute menace here for Bizarre, and they weren't really able to deal with him effectively. But just as I say that, it's Twent that does find Jigsaw, so that is Ash off board. Kubrian, Sequence, and Archie are the last men standing, and right now for Skyfire, things are looking not that pretty, but still very much clutchable.
And half the team is just looking down.
All the pistols.
Hang on, he sees the gun. He sees the muzzle, but unfortunately, it looks like you're going to have to shoot it more than that. Just like that. And AFX and Kubrian, they're just going to find their own kills there. But it is a trade indeed. But that's not what you want when you're the attacker right now. President and Ghoul and Twent all have great positions right now to just sit down and wait. Sit down and look at their watches, because Ku and Archie, it's time to make the run soon, boys, because 30 seconds... And I don't think they're going to be able to get the plant down either. It's just going to be too hard to move on to the side. They're going to do it together to make sure they can guarantee some trades, or maybe even just get the kills down before they're even in threat of dying. But here we go. The first shots come out. Twent and Ghoul and, well, no other teammates right now as President goes down. But it's a trade so far. But now it's just Archie. Now it's just Archie with 13 seconds and a hope. And Ghoul, well, he hates hopes, and he's going to shut it down.
Sure does. That was a very nice hold at the end of the round. A little bit of a few whiffed shots before they finally connected onto the head of Hibana. But overall, yeah, Bizarre seeming to be just fully in control, managed to recover after a little bit of a shutdown that Skyfire had. And now them being on a match point, and a match point of 6-2, that is going to be a feels good moment for Bizarre. And definitely for Skyfire, a little bit of a tilted, given that this is their map. This is their main map that they play on, where they succeed the most, where they take the points. But today is just not seeming to be their day.
Yeah, it really does start to feel a little worrying for them to be this dominated by Bizarre right now, because they're tied for second place and they should be fighting to contest Exto at the top. But a 2-0 here means that Bizarre just completely shuts them out of contention and says, look, you can hope for third place. Hopefully that's good enough for you. Because Bazaar are very close to snagging this first map, and that just really sets them that far ahead. We talked about the momentum it's going to mean in terms of mental. You're just going to be feeling so good going into it, whereas Skyfire, not even just crushed by the fact that this was a pretty one-sided map if it ends up here, but also the fact that they can hope for a draw in the series at best. And that is devastating for their chances at the top.
Yeah, this is going to be a bit of a fall from grace should Skyfire end up losing out on the chance for the 3 points, even if for 1 point really, because if they will take the full loss here, the 2-0, and Bazaar will be the ones to claim the 3 points. This is going to set back Skyfire quite immensely, since that they were only able to claim a win and a draw, I believe. So this is going to be hurting them quite a fair bit.
Yeah, but for Bazaar, they're going to be feeling stoked. This is exactly what they want. They're probably feeling amazed right now that they're able to just manhandle Skyfire at the moment. I mean, even some of these rounds on attack. Hang on, though, because we do have to get through this final round here. We haven't won the round just yet. Ku will make that a little harder for Bazaar to do as he takes out Twin. So now we're sitting again in a situation where Skyfire have got a good old 5v4. They've done it nice and early, so they've even got the time to make a good plan, to make a good amount of progress through the building, get towards the site, get above, get below, get all around Bazaar right now. It's still not the easiest thing in the world in a 5v4, but of course, AFX shows why, because things like this can happen. You can lose a member to C4 by the beautifully positioned AFX.
Yeah, AFX in his position are quite powerful, especially with the destructible ceiling right above him. Those C4s are going to be a menace. Another peek out through the window onto Ku could have nearly cost him his life, but he was thankfully able to return fire pretty quickly and force him back off. Smacker, to add up to the kill count, we'll be getting rid of President, but so is Ghoul will be getting rid of Smacker. And it's just the trade central back and forth here and there. Ghoul is still roaming around on the top floor, and the Skyfire just can't seem to be able to hold out their positions, their plays in a very fashionable manner. But that was a fashionable entry right into the hookah lounge, right into the hands of Kubrian, and well, that is going to be putting Skyfire back into the man count lead.
Yeah, and now Bazaar, they're back up against the wall. They've got to hold the sides. At least Scissor here is pretty far away. He can hold down a pretty decent angle, so he may be able to get a surprise kill. But AFX, it could not be more different. He's getting rained down bullets from above. And now, finally, Scissor reveals his position. Bazaar finally, lose AFX. He drops his umbrella. Scissor as well from downtown. Will we get taken out too? So Skyfire, they are still in this, and they don't want to make map 1 go down so easily, if they're going to go down at all.
A 6-3 scoreline, only 3 more rounds remaining here for Skyfire to push this into overtime, whereas for Bazaar, they need only a singular point to really win out the map and push themselves into a 1-point score after the map number 1. So here for Skyfire, maybe comeback is real, but so far it's been a bit of a trade of a back and forth, as Sunrise will be a retry once again from the side of Bazaar. And, yeah, things are definitely looking still a little bit dicey here for the Skyfire roster.
Yeah, dicey for sure, but they've proven that the rounds can definitely go their way. Even if things get thrown in the works a little bit, like AFX getting a cheeky little C4 kill, they can still manage to pull out a win here. So Skyfire are definitely showing that, hey, look, all of our guys are great gunners. We can still challenge you in fights and win a lot of them. So, I mean, you take a look at the frags, they're pretty even across most of the board. Lowest being Archie on 4, so it's not even that wildly different there. So everyone on Skyfire, kind of the same way to Bazaar, is that they're not a one-man army. There's never a chance, never a time when you see one member go down and say, okay, that's it, they're done. So, it's not the same for Bazaar for sure, but, I mean, look at their numbers too. It definitely varies a little bit here, going from Scissor at 1 to Ghoul at 12.
Yeah, Scissor is not particularly having a good time here. on Coastline. Can't seem to really find a whole bunch of shots and connect them properly. But yeah, the rest of the squad has been feeling real good here. A few struggles, a few bumps here and there, but apart from that, really, for Skyfire, they seeming to be getting reactivated more and more the longer the game goes. But for Bazaar, they've started off things real nice and really confident here. So the early advantage for them could really work out further down the line.
Yeah, well, look, it's just 3 more rounds here, Skyfire. There is certainly going to be pretty hard, but it's definitely doable. Every round is a new round, of course. We've had already a little bit of a firefight, but it's only AFX getting tickled a little bit on his health bar. But Bazaar are now starting to make their way through. They've got a few of the rooms done, but right now it's going to be Jigsaw seeing what he can find down the hallway. Does he see anything? Indeed, it's all Jigsaw. No, he's going to back away, and rightly so, because 3 members were lining up to start taking him down from down there.
And flashbangs now starting to fly in. Ku trying to get rid of all the Jaeger devices, all of the pretty much any utility that can be stacked there. So for now, Bazaar just making some amends. They go in for a few rotations as they're trying to retain the control of up above, but the 4 stack right on the opposite side of Coastline is certainly going to be stating otherwise. There's the peek by Ghoul. Does manage to tag Smacker. Does manage to actually down him and finish him off as AFX also pitches in. This is looking like yet another snowball effect here for Bazaar, as they just seeming to be catching off the Skyfire members off guard.
Yeah, I don't want to jinx it or anything, but Bazaar looks like they've set themselves up here. 5v3 at the moment. Going to be pretty hard to move in. Shout out to Ghoul during that fight, along with AFX to clean it up. But doing the flicks, getting the pistol out, he's mechanically warmed up right now. He is definitely feeling on fire. Hang on, though, because Kubrian is not done yet. He's taken out AFX as well, getting the Vengeance done. So it's still doable here for Skyfire. They've got a minute to go in and pull it in. So even with this 3v4, it's not the most time sensitive at the moment, but eventually they will have to start moving their way in. The smoke is definitely going to be forcing everyone away. The sequence is going to stick around, but they're moving the diffuser around. So I wonder what their plan is going to be here. They're definitely looking at a bunch of different angles. They're setting themselves up, and that patience, it's paying off. Archie's picked up Scissor right now. Only 3 defenders remain, and those gas grenades, they're running out. 1 more in his pockets. Twent, he needs to make this one count. It looks like they're going to be able to run down the clock most of the way down. He's going to save this one for the plant, I believe. So this is very patient coming up from Bazaar, but Skyfire, they don't have that luxury. They've got to go in. There it goes. The final gas is going to go in to deny the plant. Ku is taken out. So is Sequence as well. And it looks like Archie is going to be the one to try and save it, but the shotgun to the face is going to be the real savior of the round. Bazaar picking up map number 1.
Oh man, Bazaar literally just running in right into the whole matchup. 7-3 scoreline against Skyfire. That is going to be quite a tilter here for Skyfire, really, to see on their own map pick, their best map so far statistically, and a complete stomp now. Things are definitely not looking all too pretty for Skyfire, but maybe they might make a return on Villa.
Yeah, look, if there's anything I've learned about these teams, it's that they've got some pretty amazing mental fortitude. So a loss like that, it might hurt now, but they're going to have a few minutes to ready themselves and get ready for map number 2 on Villa. And that is coming up after this break. Board your planes and get your passes out, because we're going to be traveling over to Villa here for map number 2. Bazaar versus Skyfire. Bazaar already taken map number 1 on Coastline in a dominating fashion, you've got to say. It was 7-3, I believe, which was maybe the signs of a comeback for Skyfire, but, well, some of those rounds, Cthulhu, Bazaar just wanted to get in and out very quickly.
Yeah, a fair few rounds we saw from Bazaar were just absolutely just a roll by them, and they were able to just perform excellently under pressure, and it was just a pleasure to really witness. Whereas for the side of Skyfire, they were just having a few struggles there with the pacing, getting caught up on some of the timed gunfights, and just things weren't really working out for them. Maybe they weren't really warmed up there, but who knows at the end of the day. For now, it is going to be going into Villa. That is going to be the map choice of Bazaar.
Yeah, so always a fun time when you pick up your opponent's map pick and then you get to go onto your own one. Bazaar should be feeling as confident as ever moving into Villa here. Skyfire, I said it before the break, they're a team that can come back from things like this. It's definitely a hard loss on map one. It means that their leaderboard chances are going to be a little shot at catching the first place position. But of course, that's maybe change it in a few weeks, but it's definitely going to hurt at the end of week 3. However, they have 1 point still on the line. They can still manage to snag the draw here, get that point, and importantly, drag Bazaar down to their level as well. It says, hey, if we can't get first, no one's getting first except Exto. They can keep it for now.
Yeah, there's not going to be a whole lot of leverage, at least right now, onto Exto. But yeah, for Skyfire, at the very least, all that they can do is just, run disruption here on the points, be able to take control of Villa. Because so far, I mean, from all the notes that I was able to take, Villa is... It's not particularly a great map for both the teams, at least up until today. As for Bazaar, previously it was just an absolute trade central, and they were just trading around back and forth up until, I believe, the second half, where they ended up going on to, I think, offense. And then they were able to finally start taking some of the rounds off what was then Ferox, I believe. So, yeah, it's a tough map. It's a tough map for both of them, but seeing as how Bazaar were activated on the coastline, I'm expecting some quality performance from them to come into Villa as well, since it's also their map pick. So obviously they were feeling extra confident to really play it out.
Yeah, I mean, this is exactly how you want to be feeling going into map number 2. I mean, I already mentioned it. You've already won your opponent's map. You did it in crushing fashion in terms of the rounds. And yeah, Skyfire were kind of showing they were coming back, but this is all just kind of us trying to find reasons for them to be able to win. If you're sitting down and looking at the team most likely to win right now, you got your money out for betting on the match, then it would be on Bazaar, right? They've just shown exactly why they should be picking them to win. It's their map pick now. It's on Villa, so it's not even like a crazy map that people aren't used to. Teams aren't really practicing. Everyone's been to Villa. We all know about it. So this should be, if anything, just a more standard-looking map. Same thing with Coastline as well, is that teams have been on it forever. They know the map like at the back of their hands. So same thing with Villa. I don't expect anything different here. But Skyfire did show that even when the pressure is high, even when match point is there, they can still pull out some rounds. They can still win the rounds individually. But it feels like when it gets to that crunch time in the round itself, if they're not well far ahead, then things maybe look like there's a bit of trouble.
Yeah, the trouble is definitely there. Trouble is still actually, matter of fact, both for both of the teams, really. Because Bazaar, yes, whilst they're going to be riding on a hype wave after the map 1, they're still not out of this yet. They still need to really perform well here on Villa.
Yeah, and just an update for all the viewers. I'm sure you're keen to jump into Villa. We are too, but we're just getting all the players ready into the lobby. Want to make sure it's all ready to go. So trust us, we're almost there. I can promise you that we're minutes away. Well, hopefully not minutes, hopefully seconds away from jumping into Villa. But of course, we want to make sure the players are all going to be ready for it. But it does give us time to talk about it just a little bit more. I kind of want to talk about how Exto are going to be feeling about this match. I know it's kind of weird to just jump a little out of the box here, but like I said before, they're going to be watching this match. They want it to be a draw. It means that the two teams that are going to be contending them for the top spot almost can't as the weeks go on. They will probably have to 2-0 them later on in the season to really get it. And so a draw tonight, you've got to imagine Exto is cheering their hearts out for Skyfire.
Oh, yeah. For Exto, here they want to have that lead for as long as possible. So, yeah, they're going to be hoping for a draw here, honestly. And potentially that could also give them at least a partial immunity going into week number 4, which is also quite an interesting thought to really think about as well. The fact that they were able to really close out their technically could say easier matches very early on into the season, so gain themselves that initial advantage, slightly less mental pressure as well going into some of the further matches. So yeah, here they just essentially going to be keeping the fingers crossed on on the draw. Because Skyfire, they've proven as well before, I believe in their matchup against PC419, was their first map was looking very, very kind of dicey. They didn't really get a whole lot of points there. But the moment they swapped over to the second map, the moment they managed to really warm up, this is where they were able to really kind of bring in the play. This was where they started actually dictating their own pace. And from there on, they were the ones that were the winners of map number 2.
Yeah, and so it's something called strength of schedule, where you're able to crush, well, not crush, but have your harder matches earlier on and be a little more accurate in the power rankings, if that makes sense, where your place in the leaderboard actually does show your true kind of actual rank in the teams. But for Exto, that could be questionable for now. Of course, really, they've done everything they can to get those 2 and O's, but they still have to kind of test it and prove it later on. But speaking of all of that, let's put it off to the side a little bit. Exto, you've had a little bit too much spotlight here in a match that's all about these guys, all about Bazaar and Skyfire. They want to come in here and snag it. Bazaar are looking to just finish off that 2 and 0, whereas Skyfire, they're fighting for that 1 more point, and they're fighting to bring Bazaar down to their level 2.
Yeah, Villa is going to be definitely an interesting one for me to see how this time, how will Bazaar really make changes to their pushes? How are they going to be really playing it out? Because they are going to be starting on the offense here, as Skyfire will be attempting to once again start out on defense, get the early points in their favor. But if we go off the fact how things went on Coastline, Bazaar might be actually in a much more favorable position for themselves.
Yeah, it does feel like it doesn't really matter what side Bazaar are on in this matchup. They're okay on attack and on defense. Arguably, if anything, they had a little more trouble on defense itself, so they're fine. They're fine to start here on attack at the moment. The bans are going to come out again. At least we're going back a little more to normal. Nothing too crazy out of the meta. Hibana's one that kind of slips in and out here. So that one's probably the biggest surprise, but even then, it's not too much, not too weird to see here, banned on out. It does show, though, that both teams, they want that hard breach out of here.
Yeah, it's rather probably the fact that it's 2 of the hard breaches that got banned out. Usually you would see, say, Thatcher and Hibana to be banned out, so that then the attacking side is forced to really get up close and personal with some of the breaches. But instead, this time, they are limiting just only to a singular hard breacher, and that is going to be Thermite, which is going to limit, firstly, Bazaar's ability to really go in for some of the openings and some of the breaches, and they will have to make them count. And 2, they will have to guard Thermite like their most valuable possession in their entire life, because without him, it is going to be a struggle to get through all the choke points that the defense will have.
Defenders, protect your bomb.
Yeah, you lose Thermite, and suddenly you're just walking into the defender's line of sight. You get to go exactly where they want you to go. So Bazaar, like you said, they're going to be looking after President. I mean, honestly, what more appropriate name for that? Just get down, Mr. President, stay safe, make sure that you get the package delivered, make the hole in the wall that we need. But yeah, Skyfire here, this is where they need to start shining. They're looking to do pretty much the same kind of setups they had back on Coastline, where they've got comps that like to be able to hunker down. There's no Rook thrown in here, but I wouldn't be surprised if we saw him thrown in a little later on. But they are shaking it up a little bit. They still have things like Alibi to keep Bazaar guessing.
Attackers' objective is to locate a bomb and defuse it.
Yeah, I mean, we saw an attempt at the Alibi from Skyfire in the previous round, and well, while she was able to delay quite some time, I don't think there was quite a whole lot of success. Sequence instead is going to be trying to pull a smacker on Coastline, aka try to get a cheeky spawn peek, but to no avail. It's just a few kind of precautionary shots fired off, and Smacker will be instead forced off the position in the classroom, back onto the site, yeah.
And in fact, that's most of Skyfire hanging by the windows and seeing if they can spot out anyone from Bazaar. But by process of elimination, they should work out that they're probably over on the side of the map here. So Now Skyfire should have an idea of what's going on, but that doesn't mean Bazaar didn't get a good position, but maybe not as good as Scissor would have been hoping here, as he did not land a single shot on his opponents, and so we'll be cleaned up here. Skyfire, that's a great start. At least he gets back
for
up.
Scissor, he was, at least he was able to be picked back up by one of his teammates, albeit on barely any health, but yeah, I don't think Scissor really expected that early kind of gunfight that Sequence had there with the ACOG MP5. So that's a solid beginning here for Skyfire to kind of slow things down, but I don't think this will generally really change anything here for Bazaar. But just as I say that, it's Jigsaw that strikes onto Scissor, finishes him off. So 4v5, and well, Bazaar kind of looking at this the site now as, well, what are we going to do? And exactly what they're going to do is just go in for the push and for the peek as Twit and Blue pick up a kill each.
Yeah, and it's not done yet, Cthulhu, either. There's still 3 defenders left, and Bazaar just cleaning up the remaining utility that they need to, getting rid of a lot of these goo mines as well. Super annoying, but Sequence, he's still keeping things even, keeping Bazaar honest. Ghoulmao just going absolutely nuts with his reticle there, not managing to find anything, but does stay alive, importantly. Jigsaw, however, makes President not so lucky. Now with only 2 defenders left, 2 attackers left. It's really going to be tough, but if you want 2 people to do it, it's going to be these guys.
Ooh.
Maybe not, though, as he does walk into Sequence again, and AFX, he's got to find it, but Sequence is shown to be absolutely on fire with his shots right now. Looks like no one can take him down in this round. And so AFX, I don't think he's going to be able to make it into here. He does have the diffuser. Actually, hang on. Sequence goes down, and AFX loses no health either. So maybe he can get it done. 25 seconds. You can imagine Ku and Jigsaw, though, should be hiding pretty far back, but maybe not. Maybe they're just around the corner here.
Yeah, Skyfire is doing actually pretty good. The way how Sequence played out his dog plays is just in a very well-paced, well-mannered kind of pixel peaks that we saw from him from time and time. So the very first of all engagements just outside of the statuary, finds the down onto Scissor, falls back, gets right to the breach, gets the flank, gets the frags from there. The moment the breach is done, gets the pixel angle from there, from all the way into the entrance into bathrooms, back into the entrance of the statuary. And it's just that continuous kind of cycle of that hit and run strategy that Sequence was doing. Pretty much was one of the key fragments as to what allowed Skyfire to really make the plays here.
Yeah, Sequence really getting on a roll in that round. It was really quite nice to see, and just nothing really going wrong for Skyfire. They had all their positions fine, nothing too crazy happened, no one from Bazaar snuck in, Ghoul didn't have any crazy clutch plays. It's only 1 round in, so there's still plenty of time for that if you're a Bazaar fan, but for Skyfire, they're comfortable in the fact that they can just close out round 1 in a very normal fashion, just nothing too crazy. It does show some pretty good things about them, but we know that Bazaar is not always exactly a very normal team. Sometimes they like to do things a little strange. However, a lot of the time you can't expect them to just do some pretty standard stuff on their attack, especially on their attack.
Worrying about grenades now. 10 seconds remaining.
Yeah, Bazaar, they had a few good plays. Like you said, they not really a team that would be sticking to just one strat. Sometimes they go in for a cheeky rush, sometimes they just play it in a really methodical manner. So here, they kind of gotten a taste of what could Skyfire bring in here. Maybe we'll get another taste. The sequence is prompting to really get a few angles set up for himself for the further down the round. But really here, Skyfire almost getting a little bit maybe too cheeky with some of the peaks, some of the roams. I mean, a roaming dock is usually not the usual thing that you would see, so maybe that's the plan, maybe that's the play that could throw in a spanner into works of Bazaar.
Yeah, well, if you're going to put anyone on a roaming dock, I think Sequence is a pretty good decision for it. But you're right, Skyfire, they've been pretty spread out here, looking for something a little naughty, but it looks like they're going to be grouping up just a little bit more now that they're closer to the site here. Archie managed to get out of where he was pinned down, and now most of Skyfire are together. So Twent going to have to be very careful if he turns any of these corners right now, especially any onto the site. This hallway has proven to be very deadly. Luckily, it looks like it's going to be quite alive right now as they turn around the corner to see everything that's going down. But Ghoul, well, he's already found Kubrian, and that is the oh my gone. You really wanted those magnets if you wanted to clutch out at the end, but look, you'll take it here. Bazaar, 1 kill. So they're setting themselves up to hold out the rest of the round here.
Bomb located by attackers.
Yeah, but that impact trick has actually slowed things down for Bazaar even more. I believe that was only one of the two brimstone charges that could have been used by President. So at the very least, he should have another charge for himself to really go in. But Sequence will be able to find the shot onto Twent. No more of the EMP grenades, but I think those ones were used at least once. So there's partial use that came out from that. And, well, back to just as I was about to say 4v4, it's Sequence strikes back. The Doc with the MP5 is just an absolute menace right now on Villa, and it doesn't look like Bazaar are able to really find any closure, any trade onto the Doc player, or any kind of initial shutdown on him.
Yeah, look, Sequences just has the best position, the best gun for his job as well. But as I say, that President has taken him out, but it's a trade. Jigsaw found his own kill too. And now President, he get it done here on the Thermite. Almost no health. Ghoul has managed to pick himself back up as well, so at least it's a 2v3, but these guys are so close to death. A tissue falling on them, near them, would be their demise, and so they have to win these fights almost perfectly, and they've got to do it in 20 seconds as well. And you can imagine Skyfire are just they're chilling back nice and far, making sure that they don't have to do anything too risky. And Skyfire, he's already got President out of the way. Ghoul is the next one, but maybe he doesn't prove so easy, but he gets only one kill before he falls to Archie.
Skyfire now turning up the heat in their favor, making it a 2-round streak for themselves after what was quite a demoralizing loss on map number 1. This time they seeming to be very well in control of the pace of just general approach as to where they're going to be funneling Bazaar through, and it's seeming to be working really well here for them. Now that they have that 2-point advantage, they have the general hype potential and the momentum now swinging into their favor, and this is exactly what they've been looking from the get-go, to get that early momentum for themselves, to make sure that Bazaar are just going to be questioning each and every move. And well, their response to that is bringing in the Montagne.
Hell yeah is my response to that. Bring in the Monty, bring in the spice, bring it in. Put the big shield in front of President. Make sure that no one can stop him just getting to put down his Brimstone charge. Make sure he can just open up any wall he wants to. So Twent is just going to change up exactly how this is running. Bazaar is sitting there thinking, okay, you guys, we've let Skyfire get 2 of those rounds, and they were pretty normal rounds. So it looks like they're just shooting us better than we're shooting them. So let's put a big shield up. Let's just walk right in there. Sequence on a bit of a tear. He's got a pretty powerful gun or 2 on that Doc. Well, it's not powerful enough to get through that big shield, is it?
Yeah, the big shield will definitely be able to block out a fair few shots unless it's being pointed in the opposite direction. Then, well, the beach shield behind the actual shield is not going to be having a fun time. But Dining is going to be a very interesting to me sight to watch Skyfire defend, because so far they were able to really play it out by kind of almost by ear, thanks to the efforts of Sequence. And here, I'm curious whether they will be playing a very much of a one-dimensional play, or rather will they have quite an extensive roam up above, as so far it seems that Jigsaw and the remainder of the roster, actually, just only Jigsaw for now, will be upstairs.
Yeah, and I think they've, at least someone heard where President was, so maybe they can deal with that. Maybe they can find him, but looks like they're not going to follow him too hard. But Twent is going to start things up, because he's Monty. He can walk into wherever he wants as long as he's facing the right way, which is not terribly hard to do. And so look at all of these rooms they're able to clear. They're going to have the exact position they want. Jigsaw looks like he saw what he needed to see, and it was terrifying. So he just sprinted back downstairs. This is where things can go wrong, though. If Cooperine finds a C4 onto any members, and it looks like he might here. Oh, no, he's not going to pull it out. Okay, so he's not going to be looking for it at the moment, just telling his team where everyone is. But now the floor's starting to open up. He needs to throw it out now, but Smack is going to be the one to throw it out. That one does miss. They don't find it yet. The tracking's not there, but look at this. They just know exactly where they are. There's the C4. 1, 2, 3, kaboom. But it's not going to do enough damage. In fact, it's going to do no damage at all.
Not at all indeed. Archie instead will be the one to deal all the damage, as that's the president of the board, the thermite of Bizarre Gaming. Down and out, gone. Gonskis, and just completely zero effort to be put in there for the final push. Ghoul instead will be forced to really push through the choke point, that is the doorway through the laundry, and well, Twent should be the one to assist him, and at the very least going in for the push. Ghoul attempting to go in for the plan, but oh, Archie is the one to get the flank onto AFX. Right now, Ghoul does take quite some damage, and well, now the main issue here is that smoke player, that dock player as Ghoul. Fantastic peek, will be able to afford himself another push. Archie continues his absolute just rage here against the whole enemy team as Scissor does fall, and now Bizarre just all falling apart. Ghoul and barely any health will be going down to a quad kill. Could this be the ace? Could this be the players? Twent will be actually downing him. Twent picking up nearly another one, but Ku is the one to deny the kill, and Jigsaw is the one at the end to finish Twent off. Skyfire, 3-round streak so far, and it's not looking like Bizarre are going to be responding anytime soon.
Yeah, this is just completely different to what we saw back over on Coastline. Skyfire, 3 rounds now in a row, already a good half on their defense here. They've shut down Bizarre in a simple way in most of the rounds. It's get President out. Now they don't have any charges. They don't have any hard breach. And what are they going to do after that? It looks like Monty may have been their backup plan there, but even that got caught out pretty hard. Even Gulmau couldn't try to clutch it out at the end there. The position was too awkward. So I mean, what are they going to do here? What is their backup plan? Or is it just simple as keep President alive?
Well, keeping President alive is going to be one of the objectives here for Bizarre to really try to accomplish. Another one will be rather to try to deny all of this roam that so far Archie was able to perform. Sequence and Jigsaw, those 3 players of Skyfire are just absolutely decimating Bizarre so far, and the chances of Bizarre scoring that 2-0 are slowly kind of falling apart. But it's been only 3 rounds, so maybe we might just see a kind of a response, a comeback, 3 points from Bizarre, and maybe this is where we're going to be seeing them make that effort. But so far, things are definitely looking quite shaky for them here.
Yeah, the thing is, a lot of the rounds haven't really looked all that close, especially the last round, right? Skyfire shut it down incredibly fast, or incredibly efficiently, right? So it's making me question, like, how are Bizarre going to be able to find their way back into this one if every round isn't really looking contestable right now? So again, they'll have another site to try and take here, but a lot of these positions are pretty well covered. Archie as well, remember, we got to keep an eye and ear out for this guy. He went on a pretty massive rampage last round. His roaming has been out like through the roof, so same thing with Jigsaw as well. The roamers for Skyfire are definitely getting it done here. Hang on though, Scissor, he's had a bit of an awkward round, just only losing health though, so at least he keeps his life for now, but it looks like he won't be making it inside until he works out that, well, the defender backed off.
Yeah, Scissor right now trying to go in on a roam clear, at least check downstairs and see if maybe there could be a potential flank. Won't be finding anyone. There is a sequence with the dog on the opposite side of that 90-degree hallway who will be trying to contest that angle, but Scissor right now is just playing a little bit careful, a little bit cautious, but he's completely unaware of the lurking dog. Surely they will be able to respond to that, because right now Sequence is about to score a 1 kill, about to maybe get a 2 kill, as there's the gunfight, and oh, will be finally shut down by Scissor after him taking quite a fair bit of damage as well.
And that's who you want to take out. You want to get Sequence out of there. No more Doc, no more firepower, and no more kills to worry about. Unfortunately, it cost them a life, so it's not like it was for free. Scissor lost a lot of his health as well. They've now lost AFX, another good fragger from the last map, now not on the table. So not too long to go, but still half the round. Bizarre have some time to work out with this new situation, but they're going to have to win the fights, and Gulmau is going to be the one that needs to be able to do it, as well as keeping President here alive. Twent has been taken out now as well. This is already starting to fall apart again for Bizarre. Ghoul or President have to clutch or stay alive, but they've got to do something like this. They're now moving onto the side. Ghoul's taking it quick, and he's taking heads as well. 1 kill down, so they're making it look doable right now, but Archie and Smack are pretty far back here. They're holding down the A site. But are they going to find anything else? Archie, mate, he's gone in, cleaned up President. Now there's no more hard breach and only 2 attackers remain. Skyfire probably going to clean this one up, but Ghoul's gone in and he's gone down. Jigsaw cleaning that one up too, and his friend to follow. Jigsaw, well, he's put all the pieces together.
Oh, Jigsaw, yeah, he's getting all of the pieces and ripping them right out of Bizarre, really, here, as it seems that the attacking side right now for Bizarre is definitely hurting quite massively. They can't seem to find a single team fight to go in their favor. Ghoul, after such a fantastic coastline, just can't seem to really find that right starter, that right moment to really go in for the push, for the play. And the same as the rest of the roster of Bizarre, things are just all looking quite scary.
I mean, Cthulhu, is this just a case of them being on attack? Is it something we've got to wait until the next half of the round to happen, or is this just Bizarre falling apart?
I think it's, yeah, well, it's a little bit of both. Skyfire seeming to be all just activated and finally kind of figuring out that they can't really be as aggressive as they attempted to be on Coastline. So instead, they're just taking their time, really. They're telling essentially Archie and Sequence to, Archie, go ham on literally any kind of roam that you want to have. Whereas Sequence is just, he will have a few pre-set up positions where he could be roaming offside, but the main thing here is for the fact that you allow the dog to get the roam done, to get those long angles locked down and completely pause any advancement that Bizarre will be attempting to make.
Yeah, dude, Sequence just walked right down that hallway. He wasn't scared at all. It kind of makes me think they had a few more cameras around the place to make sure that they had some information. I know they're running bulletproof cameras, so that's going to be somewhere around the place too. So it's kind of scary how confident that Skyfire are being allowed to be. They're not being punished for a lot of their mistakes. They're making what would normally be risky plays, but because of how cautious Bizarre is being, which is not normally a bad thing, Skyfire are able to pounce on them when Bizarre aren't really expecting it. So here we go again. Into round number 5. If Skyfire can clean this one out, then we talked about what a 5-1.5 means, and well, it ended up with a win for Bizarre earlier on. And Sequence, he wanted to start things off hot, but oh no, he gets punished for it. Luckily, he is the doc and can get right back up on his feet. But well, shame, fool me once, I get back up. Shoot me in the back twice. Well, I'm gonna stay down.
I won't get back up at all. But yeah, I mean, taking out Sequence early. Yeah, taking out Sequence early on into the round, that is a solid beginning here for Bizarre. Next on their hit list should be Archie. They need to hunt this man down because he is going to bite back the moment you try to leave him out of any gunfight. And this is where things might get real scary. If Archie is going to be the one to turn things around once again for his team, oh, cool. No, what?
Wow.
Goes into the pre-fire and just takes our Ghoul through the wall.
That is a tilter. How many tilting moments are we going to get in this series?
Okay, Cool Brian. All right, mate. Just as I thought that this matchup couldn't get any spicier, he just adds up even more spice, making it like adds the red hot chili pepper to the whole brew.
Dude, that's just as I thought Bizarre were maybe going to win this round. They finally got a great start, Sequence of all people to take out, and then Kubrian just shoots through the wall just like that. I mean, what a way to come back into it, but we're still in a 4v4 situation. Archie, he tried to be careful, but it didn't work. Luckily, no one to punish him for it, although the punishment was waiting right around the corner, and Twent shutting him down there. So Bizarre is still in this.
Bizarre still are able to make a play there. With Jigsaw down, it's all down to Kubrian and Smacker. And against the 4-man push of Bizarre, surely this time Bizarre will be able to really claim the play here. But Smacker is not really letting it go just yet. Although we'll be letting it rip with a 90-round drum mag, as yeah, it's all covering fire here for the Italian operator here, and the Apex will be falling down as well. Kubrian will actually be able to pick up Jigsaw back up, and it is a 3 versus 2 with barely any time remaining. There's the peek coming through, but the pre-fire by Twent is actually going to be securing it. Another peek there. Smacker picks up a kill to Twent. Last man standing is the Capitao, and well, there's the pre-fire that will be solidifying it all. A 5-round streak for Skyfire.
Wow, I can't believe how that round went. At first it was like, Bizarre's got it. Oh, Skyfire's evened it up. Oh, Bizarre suddenly doing it. And then suddenly there's no time, and Skyfire and even Kubrian and the rest of the remaining members, I think Smacker was involved in that too, just cleaned it up at the end and clutched it out in such an important moment. It's 5-0, 5 rounds in a row. They're looking at cleaning out this half with a 6-0. I mean, it got a little close maybe in that one, but can Bizarre really pull this one back? I don't think Sequence is going to be as cheeky this time. Probably not going to get taken out by the window at the start of the round, but I mean, who knows? I wouldn't put anything by Skyfire at this point, but if they want to just get a solid 6-0 round, then Sequence is going to hang back, and he's even swapping over to the mute.
Defenders, protect your bombs from being defused by attackers.
Yeah, well, Sequence, yeah, he had his fun on Doc. Now he's pretty much taught that Bizarre needs to be on the lookout for the Doc plays for the long range, and so with him swapping it over to the mute player, he's going to be able to have, firstly, a whole different side of impact onto the play with the C4s, and he will still have a fantastic gun to really play off, and he's going to be able to deny even more of the info gathering from Bizarre. So he's in a perfect position here for himself.
5 seconds left.
One last chance to do it here on attack. Otherwise, they're going to have a perfect round on defense. We talked maybe something changes if Bizarre are able to get onto defense, but if it does, they still are going to have a massive, massive uphill battle. But one more round to get it done. One more round to find the win here on attack. They've had some moments where it looks like it can happen. They're going to be approaching over here from the south side of the building. Like they usually do. They get some pretty decent progress, so it looks like Skyfire are going to let them walk on in here through most of the rooms, but that's okay, because we've seen how Skyfire are able to shut this sort of play down.
Yeah, once again, another 3-man push attempt by Bizarre. It kind of worked before, at least on Coastline, but here we'll see if it's going to make any difference, as Skyfire so far were able to really adapt on the go as to how will Bizarre push. And this is what I mentioned before. Villa is a very shaky map for Bizarre. Even in their previous matchup against Ferox, it was a trade central, and they were just barely able to run away with the win. Here, being 5-0'd by Skyfire and already being caught out by the C4s, it is just unforgiving here by Skyfire. They're not letting away with a single frag, with a single mistake, and well, Bizarre are paying quite dearly for that.
Oh man, this is rough, and now Ku is still tracking them from below. They still have another C4 to follow it up. Still more explosions coming out. That one doesn't find anything, but I know Smacker still had one in his hand, so he'll be walking around looking for it too. They're still tracking them. They still know exactly where they are. So Skyfire is, again, no reason that this one should slip out of their hands. They have every advantage that they need at this point. If anything, Bizarre getting the position above them that they want, maybe that's one disadvantage, but they have to push it very hard to win a 4v5 here. These shots through the floor are going to have to be done with precision and, importantly, without being fired back upon. Even the health they lose in these situations can be devastating.
Yeah, well, here right now, pretty much every death on the side of Bizarre is going to be counting. If they are going to be losing this round, a flawless first half is going to be a devastating blow to Bizarre's morale here. And it's going to be quite a tough run from there on. Even now, with a 5-0 looming over them, things are looking quite scary. The breach has been quite successful for President, but with 26 seconds left to go, oh boy, this is going to be a bloodbath. Ku already has the crossfire set up, a very much of a pixel angle behind the bomb chassis, but AFX is true on his shots. Ku tries to find the shot, but there's all the trades coming through. Archie to take out AFX. This timer is running low. Sequence will be finding another one, and Skyfire getting themselves the flawless first half.
Wow, oh wow, 6-0. We're actually just on match point already. We may even have to wait for the second match. This one's going so quickly. But wow. I mean, here's Bazaar's chance to change it up. Here's Bazaar's chance to say, hey, you're not going to get literally a flawless game. We're going to find our footing here, but they need to, and they need to do it literally from the get-go. They can't let anything go wrong here. So Skyfire, they've proven defense is no problem for them. They got it done flawlessly. Now attack. And attack is where they were looking a little better on Coastline, in fact. So, of course, different map, different story, but maybe this is where they look even better, arguably. There's no reason they shouldn't be bad on attack here now that they've swapped.
Yeah, I don't think we will be seeing any kind of hiccups, or at least the minimal amount of hiccups right now from Skyfire, because even on attack on Coastline, they've proven that they were quite ready to play it out. And Jigsaw was very much a big part of finding those rounds. Here, I mean, look at the scoreline already. Look at the Bazaar roster, 2 players on the breadstick, and the highest amount of kills is 6, and that is on Ghoul. Whereas on the side of Skyfire, you have a stable amount of 6 kills between Sequence and Jigsaw as well, and Archie is already on 9, as that is just already, that's a huge already showcase, and 6 rounds in a row. Now that's a flex and a half that Skyfire so far are the only ones that will be able to really show here.
And it's kind of strange because you think, hey, if Skyfire can destroy Bazaar this much on this map, then surely they're going to be the biggest contest for the top of the table, Exto. But remember, Exto want this situation. They want Skyfire to win. They want the draw because it means both teams are even further behind that top of the leaderboard. They'll be only 4 points behind, but it means that next week they can't even hope to even draw for first place. So Exo are stoked with how this is going. Skyfire, though, it almost feels like a bit of a consolation prize to bring Bazaar back down. But here we go. This is already what they're looking to do. It's pretty much a push with everyone together here. Skyfire, one big family.
Yeah, Skyfire, they love their kind of together pushes. They have those active drones in the face of Archie, funnily enough, and instead it's Sequence that is just gonna go in for the aggression, but so he will be met with the aggression as well. Scissor is the one to stop him in his tracks, and well, potentially Bazaar gonna be starting maybe their comeback train here, but that's still a very far-fetched question, given that, well, if they will, it's still another 5 rounds that they will need to do flawlessly without a single issue and without a single loss.
Yeah, but losing Sequence really sucks here, so we've got to have Bazaar come in and basically get a kill for free, maybe take a little bit of damage, but they can't make it a trade. They've already lost half the round so far. They're draining a little bit of utility. You can see some of the ADS have been run down a little bit, and the position is good for Skyfire right now, but they still have a room or 2 more to clear before they can get to the position to make the push. Ku looking for the kill around the corner here, but he's got the camera to deal with it. Eventually he's going to find it as it looks around. That bulletproof thing, man, the worst.
Yeah, the bulletproof camera is definitely going to be quite a tough one here. As Skyfire, yeah, they trying to find that kind of the small mistake that Bazaar could be making and then just play off that, just snowball that in. As it's so far, it seems that they're just waiting for Jigsaw to swing right onto the side and just play by trades, as right now, Bazaar, really, they're not making a whole lot of moves, really. There's going to be a peek by the smoke and a couple pre-fires to kind of keep Jigsaw on his toes, but really, apart from that, it's a slugfest right now. But Ghoul gets downed amidst all of the chaos by the pre-fire of Smacker, and that is a solid opener here.
Oh, but it's not going to be enough. Or maybe it will be, actually. Trades coming out here. The roam from Kubrian actually just running right up the stairs, getting a killer piece here. Can he find more, though? He's only got 10 seconds to go in there. Archie's going to be helping him out. He needs to find the kills and then move in. Only AFX remains. AFX needs to pull out these kills. 3 seconds remain, but the plant's going down, so he's got to get the frags here. He's looking around the corner carefully, cautiously, but maybe a little too much. He still has all of his health, but it only takes a few bullets to get rid of that health bar. Skyfire, come back in and just smash Villa.
Smite, I'm shook.
I'm shook too, man.
7-0 for Skyfire. That is just after such a devastating loss on their own map pick, being 7-3, such a comeback. That is just wow.
Yeah, that is something to say. But I imagine both teams will probably walk away from tonight thinking, hey, look, we had one great map, and that's it. Because unfortunately for them, it just sort of traded places, and even worse for the leaderboard, right? So, I mean, I don't want to rain on their parade a whole lot. 7-0 on Villa, just ridiculously incredible. That is an outstanding achievement there by Skyfire. So they should absolutely walk away from that with pride. But then they're going to look at the leaderboard and see, okay, we're still pretty far away from Exto, and at least Bazaar is even with us, so at least we don't have to catch up with them as well. That's one good thing, and so it is very nice that they managed to snag that one too. But Bazaar are also going to be feeling a little awkward, even though they had a really good win, because they were primed to start challenging second place. But Cthulhu, we're going to be able to get some thoughts from one of the players here. So, I mean, what are you interested to hear about this one?
Look, I'm curious about just general kind of pacing and just what happened with the momentum because for both of the teams it was quite a swing of the momentum. For Bizarre, I mean, the beginning of Coastline was an absolute blast, but really for Skyfire it was all about their map 2 momentum. So yeah.
Well, Cthulhu, I hope that you've got all your manners in order because we've got a real VIP here. It's President from Bazaar. President, are you there, mate?
Yeah, mate. How are we tonight?
Look, we're feeling pretty good here, but yeah, we're going to have to get right into the interview. So while it's fresh in your mind, we'll get to the nice, comfortable questions later, but talk us through what happened here on Villa.
Look, our execution was pretty poor on our attacks. I felt our clears were fine, but going into our executes, we just didn't have enough info, didn't know where they were. Yeah, led to us getting picked off early. Yeah.
What happened between? Yeah. Sorry.
Keep going.
Go ahead.
For a few rounds on an attack there, we were just playing into how they wanted us to play. They had Aviator set up for those impact tricks on the sandbite charges, and yeah, we just couldn't adapt to their aggressive play style.
What really happened? Kind of, what was? How come the swing of the kind of the momentum, or rather maybe the pace? How was it affected between, say, map 1 and map 2? Because on map 1, it was just through and through your play, your map, just your pace. But Villa kind of turned out to be completely the polar opposite. Was it? Would you partially attribute that to maybe the kind of initial hype that you guys got from map number 1, or was it something just a completely different kind of beast?
We were really confident after that win on map 1. We felt we played pretty dominant on that. But yeah, I think just their aggressive play style coming into Villa just caught off us guard. And then, yeah, coming into defense down 6-0, it's always going to be a tough ask.
All right, well, I've got a fun one for you here, mate, President, because you guys had probably the most entertaining round I've ever seen in Rainbow Six, where you guys speedrun Skyfire's team on back on Coastline. What was the decision-making there, and why the hell did it work?
So I knew that their setup was quite slow. They like to play top floor pretty heavy, and they always had their shotgun players over Sunrise and Blue Bar side. So I asked Ghoul to just get a drone into bathroom, saw there was no rotates, no holes in bathroom. So yeah, then I just made the call, go for the rush, and it worked out pretty well.
All right. Well, congratulations on picking up the point tonight in the draw, mate. And so unfortunate on the second round there, but you guys are going to have more opportunities later on in the season. So good luck for the coming weeks.
Cheers, guys. Thanks for the cast.
All right. There we go. So Cthulhu, I mean, some pretty cool thoughts to come in there. Definitely feels a little devastated there, and understandably so after that map. But definitely a player and a team that I expect to come back even stronger next week.
Yeah, I mean, I reckon it's still going to be a bit of a bittersweet kind of moment that they're still happy with the point. At the very least, it wasn't a full-on loss of 2-0. Same probably goes for Skyfire, that they are going to be riding on a hype wave of Villa, but again, it's only a single point for them. So yeah, it's still, they are going to be able to recover further down the line. But from here on, it's going to be more and more kind of costly every loss on the map that they're going to be taking.
Well, with that, Cthulhu, we're going to have to wrap up not map, but whole number 1 here, because we've got match number 2, the last match of the 3rd week here in the season. It's going to be Ferox taking on ShadowNet. And ladies and gentlemen, that's coming up after this break. And welcome back, everyone. We've got some more Rainbow Six Siege coming at you here on LPL Pro. We've got one more match here in week number 3. It's ShadowNet taking on Ferox. Man, I almost mixed it up and said Shadowfax, but that's the really fast horse from Lord of the Rings. So instead, we're going to get hopefully not a really fast match. Hopefully we get a really long, drawn-out one that's really nice and close, because we've had a really good fast match already after what we just saw. I mean, even though it ended up being in a draw, but Skyfire with that 7-0, I mean, I'm still thinking about it, man. But let's put it on in a box here, Cthulhu, and forget about it for now, because ShadowNet versus Ferox is coming up here. And this one, on paper, should be a bit more one-sided, right?
Technically it should, but so we were saying when Ferox were first introduced into the season in week number 1, and they were only able to really get the draw so far for themselves, whereas for ShadowNet, they were only able to claim a single map throughout all these 3 weeks, so this is going to be an uphill battle for them as well.
And I think it's also going to be a good chance for Ferox. But before we get into that, ShadowNet's lineup is going to be led up by Minxie, the captain, along with Nova, Lags, Levi, and Kage. Now, I just want to very quickly say, we've been saying some teams aren't one-man shows. It really feels like ShadowNet's a one-woman show here, because Minxie, she popped off last weekend and almost was the sole reason they managed to even pick up a map point at all.
Yeah, Minxie is just an absolute beast for ShadowNet, and she is one of the few reasons why ShadowNet are able to pick up a fair few rounds. But also noteworthy, I would have to say it's either Levi or Kage occasionally popping off, really making things work there for the team. But let's take a look at the contenders, the other team that will be playing against them, which is going to be Ferox, and they are the ones that are going to be now in the way of ShadowNet to try to climb back from that single point.
Yeah, so their lineup: Deptra, Sushi, Warden, Shade, and Todd. Now, these guys as well have some familiar names, and we're actually learning a few more as the season goes on too. So they're definitely a good mix of old and new, and they're definitely a team to be reckoned with, but it's still yet to really show in the standings. But this might be their chance here, because for Ferox, their goal is that 2-0 to shoot up the leaderboard. And they're going to be starting it on these maps here as well. So let's take a look at where the teams are going to be playing tonight. So first up, of course, it's going to be Consulate, which is Ferox's pick, and then we're going to be going to Cafe Dostoyevsky. And so, well, I mean, these are 2 completely different maps. We don't get to see these a whole lot, Cthulhu.
Well, Consulate is going to be the first one that we're going to be seeing throughout the whole season in general, and well, Cafe is going to be seeing its second appearance through this week and this whole season in general. So yeah, I'm genuinely excited that first of all, we won't get to see another Villa, thank God. 2 is, honestly, this is going to be a big underdog story for ShadowNet, and if they are going to be able to get those 3 points for themselves, or at the very least another point, this is going to push them slightly further up on the ladder. Whereas for Ferox, they want that 2-0 as well. They want those 3 points for themselves to go, as they want to kind of break away from the curse of the draws, because while PC419 just took a fat L the other day, they are looking to kind of push themselves further towards that top 4 positioning rather.
Yeah, and so it really is, again, I mean, I feel like we say this for every match, but both teams really need to get this 2-0 for their own personal goals in the season, right? Ferox need to get it so that they can stop being in the bottom half of the leaderboard when really they feel like they deserve to be at the top. And then for ShadowNet, right, their goal, it's, they probably want to win, obviously, but they also realistically are probably looking at a middle of the pack kind of finish to be a really good end game goal for them. this is where that starts for them, and they need the 2-0 to get it as well. So really, it starts again like this. The first map is going to mean a whole lot because you drop the first map, and then you're really just looking at a draw. Then you're really just looking at bringing the other guys down to your level.
Oh yeah, sure is. It's just, yeah, at the moment right now, for ShadowNet, they're going to be scraping away for at least some points. Same goes for Ferox, albeit that another draw is just going to be putting them even further into that swamp of just draws and lack of points, which will be making it almost nearly impossible to really make it to the top position for themselves. And from there on, it's just going to be a bit of a slugfest. So we're going to be waiting on that one to really come through. To better yet, just how will both of the teams fare themselves on these two maps, two completely, almost completely new maps, at the very least for both of these teams. They haven't played them yet. So Consulate is probably going to be the more exciting one for me, as this is the map that kind of faded away during the meta, but it's seeing a little bit of a resurgence, and some of the newer angles are being opened up. Some of the rather new possibilities with the newer ops being introduced are going to be opened up. So I'm genuinely interested to see how will it really play itself out here.
Look at that. We're so keen to get into the match. We've already got the bans all done and dusted. So I got like a second to look at them, but luckily we can remind ourselves here. But it doesn't look like anything too crazy. Everything looks mostly on the same page here. So both these teams feel pretty comfortable with each other. We're going to go ahead and grab a look at their lockouts here because, again, I cannot reiterate this enough. The first match is going to be, the first map, here on Consulate is going to be very important. It's going to be just, it kills your drive for the second map. Obviously, Skyfire have shown that that's not the be-all, end-all kind of way to look at it, for sure, but it's going to be very hard for a team to feel good after losing the first map.
Yeah, I was just about to say that Skyfire would like to talk with you about that one, Chief, because their momentum seemed to have been quadrupled right after the loss on the first map. But yeah, I fully agree with you. Having the first map lost out and kind of knowing that you won't be able to score those 3 points is definitely quite devastating. But for this kind of scenario, I think both of the teams would be happy to, at the very least, walk away with a point, or at the very least deny the other team from those extra 2 points on top of the draw point that they already have.
Yeah, it does mean that if ShadowNet managed to force the draw here, then Ferox are actually a team they can overtake, because we can hype them up as much as we want, but if after 3 weeks they've only got 3 points, then yeah, ShadowNet can definitely overtake them. So it's interesting, right? If ShadowNet force the draw, they're actually pretty okay with it, because then it's like someone else that they can contest with, someone else they can overtake down at the bottom, avoid relegations, maybe even sneak into the top 4 for the semis. Not sure yet, but it all does start here in round number 1, and we've already taken just a little bit of damage.
Yeah, Deptra on what I'm assuming only the aggressive peak will be losing a fair bit of his health, but that shouldn't really stop him. He still has just about 60 health points for himself, so this should allow him to get into yet another gunfight. Lags, meanwhile, took a little bit of a damage as well, which I'm guessing that was that very spawn peak that Deptra was trying to attempt. And so for now, it's a pretty standard kind of push in. I'm not too sure, again, where did he take that even more damage, as
yeah, where did that come from?
there's no balls. Hello? Siege?
Really weird. Like, was it Levi? Yeah, did Levi do it? Is there a spooky ghost going on? It's probably Todd with some kind of weird angle back behind the wall, but I'm sure we'll find out the secrets in the next few rounds. But here we go. The point is, Lags has now been brought down to even below Deptra's health, so it'll be a little easier to take down in a firefight. But that's really all that they've got going for them, because this is the stuff that you want. You want to knock people onto their back, make them crawl around a little bit. If you can secure the kill, that would be good, but it looks like they should be able to get him back up. But Todd, just around the corner, could have found something, but no, Levi should be completely fine just here.
Yeah, Todd is in a pretty comfortable position here right now. He's actually going to be able to hide away right at that hatch frame. It's literally just a few pixels there to really hold out, but his position here is going to be extremely powerful. Not only the attackers will be forced to really push him there, that and the ADS that will now be drained out could have been able to drain out some of the grenades, but oh, it's just it could be quite dicey here. A shot actually onto Deptra will be downing him through that very hash, but right now Todd, the trigger discipline, will be finding that IQ, but promptly dropping down will be ensuring that, well, not a whole lot of damage can be dealt. The C4 to spook things off, but won't be connecting on anyone.
Yeah, but look at all the time that they've bought. ShadowNet have spent so much time on this that now they've got to go for the rush now. They don't even have much health. There's plenty of gas grenades left for Ferox to run the clock down even harder and then even deny the plant. So all 5 members have to run down the stairs, and Sushi is waiting there to grind them all up. Although it looks like the food fights back. Lags will snag that kill, but at the cost of almost losing his life. 15 seconds now, they've got to rush in, and they're still dropping like flies. Levi's fallen down as ShadowNet. They've got to find the plant soon or find all the kills. And it looks like they're finding the kills, and Lags, he's still alive, and he's still getting the kills. 3 seconds, where's the plant? There it is. It's going down. They're at least alive for now. Lags, Warden through the floor. He's got to find something here, but 1v3, some people are not very much health at all. It may be doable here, but there's a lot of pressure on him. He's got to go and make the plays happen now, and he's got to find the heads quickly. He finds one. Can he find anything else? That's the low health one. So now it's the hard people to get through, and he's already lost half his health. He can't find them. He's got the pistol out, and it's going to be enough. 23 seconds. He just needs to find this one more frag, but he needs to get the first shots. He cannot afford to be shot at even once. He's going to go for the plant. Is he going to buy it? Nova calls the bluff. He goes in, and he picks up the kill. Close, but no cigar by Warden. ShadowNet pick up round 1.
It was a little bit of a dicey round there by ShadowNet. I was just about to say that Warden, out of all the players, he will be the one to potentially pull off a clutch. He's an insanely underappreciated fragger, and he was an excellent addition to the Ferox roster. So him almost being able to push out a clutch, that could have been huge, and could have been a very early morale boost there for Ferox, but instead just couldn't really find that final frag. Took a little bit too much damage on that second gunfight in the CCTV. Sorry, pardon, in the security room. And well, yeah, close but no cigar, like you said. We will be pushed back into the console office defense, which could be a pretty interesting one, given that Ferox are actually going to be prompting for a dual French setup.
Yeah, they're really opting for that double down kind of strategy here, that lineup where they can just move back. You've got the healing, you've got the armor. You're just going to be super annoying to take down in these fights. So they're really just saying, we're going to be able to hold the lines really easily, and you guys are going to struggle to take us out in fights. This is how it's going to be very hard for you to make it, because let's remember why it was close for both teams in round 1. For ShadowNet, it was close, well, because Lags and Levi started clutching it out. But for Ferox, it was close because they ran down the clock. They pushed ShadowNet back. They made them walk into positions that weren't great for them. It's something that can happen again pretty easily here on round 2. You can't see clutch potentials happen every single round for ShadowNet. I mean, maybe you can. It'd be great to see it. I'd love seeing that, but you can't hope for it to happen.
Yeah, well, you would hope that that could be the case, but alas, last round it was not meant for Ferox to take. But now there's another round, another try, and another set of just plays to be made. That is a vile angle. Kage potentially looking at finding a few shots, but instead just going to be opening up the whole window just to get some maybe flashbangs, some drones coming through, just to see if maybe he will be able to find that much needed information before the peaks come through.
Yeah, Deptra will be waiting, though. He's got a few windows to keep his eyes on, and now they're starting to peek through, and now Lags finds that kill onto them. This is the kind of start that ShadowNet are looking for, and this is one that they can look to do a little more consistently here. The plant already going down. Shade is close by, Warden even further away, but plant's already done. And it looks like Deptra was not enough to stop this plant. Shade gonna go on in just to try and contest it. He gets one kill, but we know that there's someone else in there as well. So is he gonna be able to go ahead and go for the defuse? Not exactly sure. Lags is gonna shut him down though, shut Warden down. Sushi though with the trade. It just still keeps happening. Even the peek out here wasn't gonna be enough. Lags on an absolute tear, a quad kill. He won't get the ace, but it looks like it may have been enough because his team can clean it up. ShadowNet round 2 with the early plant.
Okay, ShadowNet so far is running the show, at least in the first few rounds, and this is looking quite pretty for them. And the fact that I do believe this is also their map pick. Let me just double, triple check on that. No, this is actually Ferox's map pick out of all the things. And, well, ShadowNet picking the attack here says quite something.
Yeah, well, there's surely no reason to believe that they're not going to just start picking up more rounds like that. That first one, really good. Deptra got caught out pretty hard, but more importantly, the rest of his team got caught out because they had to rotate so far back to the site. ShadowNet just completely caught them at a weak point and executed it perfectly. There was a bunch of other firefights, but you can imagine the stress that comes out from a plant coming down in a minute. Really kind of throws everything out the window, right? Ferox had to change everything, had to run down spots maybe where they wouldn't normally rush. So ShadowNet, early plant, again, that's another big reason that they picked up a win here, but the execution to get the early plant is what makes them win the round.
Yeah, the execution was absolutely flawless. Early plant worked just the right magic, and now Ferox are forced to play in lobby, the site which I personally don't really like defending. It's a little bit too open for my personal preference, but here for them, they seem to be, at the very least, confident enough to try to attempt defending it. A outside Val camera should be giving the enough information to Ferox, but apart from that, really, it seems that Ferox is just going to have to play a little bit safe there.
I kind of like the outside information though with the Valkyrie pick because it's definitely what caught out Ferox in the last round, so this should help that not happen again, and then also help out throughout the round as well later on. But here we go again. They're starting to enter in. The drone's going to be taken out. Shade probably going to be looking to fall back from this position soon, but will keep his eye on the window. But ShadowNet should have a pretty good idea that he's there and look to either approach from different windows or find a different way in. But Todd's, and he's going to be waiting for him to come on in, but nothing going to come out of it just yet.
Defender is approaching a kill zone. Defender exposed.
And nothing just yet. A bit of a run out by Deptra to try to maybe gain some information or gain some attention, rather, from ShadowNet, but won't be netting that much. Todd on an attempt of having a bit of a pixel angle to get the frag, but instead the Shade that will be falling to the hands of Minxie. We talked about her. She is one of the big leverages for ShadowNet to really get the plays, and so does Kage follow suit, as Nova does fall to the hands of Todd. And, well, in a 4v3, Ferox are looking a little bit toothless here. Just can't seem to be able to find any closure or any momentum in their favor.
Oh, man. That was the kill that Deptra needed. He needed to find that one, but unfortunately barely even found a few bullets connecting. So it still has to walk into the 3v4, which is definitely doable, but evening it up would have been so nice because it would have been for free as well. Todd, and Sushi just going to be checking out the corners for now, but it's ShadowNet's moment to push. They've got a whole minute to plan this one out. They've got time to drone. They've got time to set everything up, even IQ to clear out any remaining electronics. So everything looks like it's in the bag here for ShadowNet. They just need to not let Ferox get any cheeky peeks, any free trades or anything like that. And definitely do not walk into their sites, kind of similar to how it happened in round one. But that was an awkward EMP, unless it was above something.
Yeah, that was a little bit of a vertical play. At least an attempt from ShadowNet to try to gain some information. Plenty of time has been drained here, funnily enough, by Ferox, but with a man disadvantage, things might get a little bit sweaty there the moment the execute onto the side will come through. Lags, a little bit hunting for that roam of Todd, and will be able to find him. There's the drop down, there's the Alder trying to find some closure, some frags, but to no avail. C4, even that will be missing. Levi is down, but not so much, as the other three players of ShadowNet will be there. Will be going in for the push and for the plant as well. The vertical side is locked down. The side and the diffuser has been locked down, and Deptra is slowly going to be running out of the ideas there, but does find another headshot. Nearly can find a third one, but no. ShadowNet, 3 rounds, flawless triangle of the sides, closed out on the attack.
Yeah, wow. Where was the Shadow Net a week or two ago? They're just suddenly popping out of nowhere, just stomping Ferox into the ground right now. Some of these are getting a little close, but some of the openings, some of these plays are just all in Shadow Net's playbook, and it's being written perfectly. One thing I've always worried about for Shadow Net is that when the clock gets low, they seem to be just a little too slow to make the final push. But it seems like they're getting that kind of balance a lot more tight, and they're handling it a lot better, at least in these last 3 rounds. So props to them, and props to Lags as well. I mean, yeah, some like all the other players are picking up their kills as well, but Lags here, he's really important kills happen in the final moments.
Yeah, Lags getting the last ones definitely seem to have pushed ShadowNet into just the right pace, into just the right position. And well, already a 3-0 scoreline. Honestly, after the fact that sorry, not ShadowNet, Skyfire were able to get a 7-0, I am not excluding everything. Just at this point, I'm expecting everything to happen and nothing at the same time.
Yeah, definitely open for anything to happen, but another 7-0, that's probably the first one I've seen in a very long time, and
10 seconds remaining.
I had to do it again here against Ferox. I mean, to be fair, I never would have called out the first 3 rounds going all the way to ShadowNet. I would have much more expected it to be a little more one-sided to Ferox's side, or at best, maybe a bit back and forth by ShadowNet, but they're clearly proving us wrong. They're telling all the haters to get out of here and just saying, look, we're here to play, and we're not just here for avoiding relegations. We're going to get the 2-0. It's a good start for sure. I definitely want to see if they can keep it up, but I mean, right now, I'm not feeling like there's much reason to start doubting them.
Yeah, I mean, ShadowNet so far, I mean, if they are going to be able to get a 2-0, that is going to be a huge blow to, first of all, the reputation of Ferox, and 2, to their statement of their performance. Because right now, yes, we've been hyping them up ever since Season 1. Yes, they're the team that is currently playing in the National Pro League, which is Six Masters. But they are probably one of the more rather underperforming teams here right now in LPL Pro, and that is something that is showing.
Well, they're going to have the chance to bring it back here. Definitely shutting down ShadowNet, especially in a 2-0, would squash a few of those questions, or at least put them at rest for another week. But to be dropping to ShadowNet like this, it's definitely raising those questions. But the questions I'm getting about ShadowNet is, was I definitely wrong? It looks like maybe I was, and they've definitely proving it now. But hang on, Sushi. Patience is a key for ShadowNet. Is it a key for Sushi as well? Lags, I think he definitely would have been spotted there. I'm not sure if Sushi was turned around at that point, but here it comes. He's going for the push. They both went for it at the same time, but it's Lags to come out on top. And it was Todd, actually, that was around the corner there. But regardless, he's still being dropped down to the ground. Another good opening, but it is countered by Deptra, the hero of Ferox right now, with a C4 on Levi.
Yeah, for Levi right now, at the very least, he got traded out, so at least it's still a 4v4 situation. Lags, though, already on after 3 rounds on double digits, that is already quite a statement here for the ShadowNet player. He is able to really decimate the opposition and just bring in all the fire, all of the gunfights into his favor, into his team's favor. And like we were talking before, that it was Minxie who was pushing it. Now it's Lags who decided to take the reins of being the absolute carry for ShadowNet.
Yeah, Lag's definitely borrowing the crown right now, being the king of ShadowNet, and just definitely bringing his team across. Now, we're at this time again where we worry a little bit for ShadowNet. They've proven it's not so bad lately, but here they are, walking into a 4v4 with 20 seconds to go. They're above the site, Shade in a very cheeky little position. If you can see Nova, if he goes for a peek out, that could be really good, but he's certainly waiting for anyone to walk onto the site. Deptra, though, has been waiting, but luckily 2 members are there, so they can at least make it a trade. Shade, though, C4 kill. Plant's going down. Lags on almost no health. This is where Ferox have to jump on, and they have to strike. Oh, they get the plant down, but they've lost Lags. It's now just Kage, but that won't be enough. Ferox, they're not going down without a fight, and maybe they won't go down at all. They pick up round 4 and stay alive for now.
Bomb diffuser disabled by defense.
Yeah, Ferox, just the moment I started praising Lags and the fact that ShadowNet might just be able to run away with a clean win. Ferox decided to throw in a spanner in the works, managed to finally disrupt the general pace and the momentum that ShadowNet were able to acquire early on into the map. And well, whilst there's still a 2-point difference in favor of the attacking side, this is the first step for Ferox to try to make and turn the scoreline around, or at the very least within the matter of the first half, back into a draw.
But again, that was another good opening by ShadowNet, and to be honest, most of the round was actually pretty good. But unfortunately, it does seem to be that issue where the final moments seem to really be biting them. You could see they go in for the pushes. They've got even numbers. Of course, they have to. But then you've got to remember the plant has to go down because they've gone in that late. And they have to have someone essentially just not even part of the fight. You saw how that was pretty devastating for them at the final moments of the last round. So that is what I'm talking about when I say the big issue for ShadowNet is their final moments. It's just nailing that fine balance of going in just a little bit too soon, maybe not a little too late for that situation to happen. If they can nail that, then I think those rounds are going to continue piling up. But they've only got 2 more rounds to do it on attack here, so they have a chance to change it around and leave the half pretty strong. But Ferox here, I mean, look, last round pretty good, but I think they have to do it just a little better, especially on the opening, to continue pumping up these rounds.
5 seconds left before insertion.
Yeah, and the Ferox will definitely need to do quite a fair few things to really up their performance, up their quality, because yeah, they're going to be struggling for rounds if they will end up resulting in, say, a 4-2 scoreline against them, and then going on attack as well, as this is probably the least favorable situation for any team after a rough start on defense. So here, yeah, they need those 2 rounds like air at this point, really, as any more losses could potentially bring a risk of just losing out the map and losing out the chance for getting the 3 points.
Yeah, and I think we'll get more onto that in map 2, I think. Because right now it's all about map 1, and ShadowNet proving the haters wrong. Right now it looks like it's going to be the entry, but a lot of EMP is being thrown in there. That's a pretty expensive entry, but if they can make it in there, then hey, look, maybe it'll be worth it. This drone's going to get not too much information just yet, but it is going to give them the safety to start moving in. But as you can see, Todd, he's sitting around on the stairs, shade right around the corner from Minxie's window. So there's not a lot of entry points right now for ShadowNet. Almost every point of entry is being covered by Ferox right now.
Yeah, well, Ferox did attempt a fair few times to just lock down all of their angles, but unfortunately for them, on a few occasions, it's rather their either impatience or aggression to go in to swing in for the peak was their downfall. So here, if they are able to just sit tight, just wait for the aggression to come to them, rather, this is where they could be able to exceed in their gunfights and in their general performance. Because right now, Deptra could be potentially going in for the jump out, but the angle. The angle being held from the spiral stairs, and well, Deptra thankfully will be able to heal himself back up, but that is an alarming point of crossfire that is going to be held by ShadowNet here.
Yeah, there's a lot of crossfires right now held by ShadowNet. They've got so many angles held down. Ferox have to watch their step at every moment. But here's what I was talking about again. It's the final moments. The last drone's now coming out, and ShadowNet haven't made the pushes yet. So this has to be the push that counts right now. Todd hasn't moved. Deptra hasn't moved. Shade hasn't moved. And Sushi hasn't moved. He's picking up a kill as well. This is looking great so far. But suddenly the defenders are starting to drop. And ShadowNet are finding their way inside. Sushi and Todd. And Todd out of gas grenades now too. It's the final seconds, and here's the pressure. Kage getting the plant down. Can they find the 2v2 right now? Todd has taken Kage out. Do they have time to grab the diffuser? No, they've got to run across his line of fire as well and get dropped down to Ferox. Picking up round number 5 here. Once, hang on. Let him get himself back. Maybe he pulls it out here. But, of course, with the timer dropping down nice and low, that should be it.
If Ferox managing to finally be able to take control of the base after losing 3 players on their roster, that is that does put a few questions out there. But I definitely have to say that, yeah, at the very least, they were able to reclaim the late round pace into their favor, managing to lock down the crossfires, managing to lock down the site, and already only a single round difference to go with for Ferox, and they might be looking at locking out the first half in their favor. Well, sorry, not in their favor, but rather into a draw.
Yeah, well, I mean, at this point, you've got to hope it's almost in favor, right? It would be the 3 rounds in a row if they could manage to even it up here. And it would certainly shut down a lot of ShadowNet's momentum. You can imagine ShadowNet as a team who hasn't had the most success throughout the season so far could maybe get a little bit too excited from 3 rounds in a row. You got to make sure they keep their heads on straight and make sure they don't let it go too crazy. Ferox could be picking up on that. It's another thing as well is that Ferox could be noticing how ShadowNet play and where they have their issues. Obviously, they would have researched ShadowNet beforehand, but it's another thing to actually jump in the rounds with them. So I think they're getting a good idea here, where as long as they don't let ShadowNet get any, kind of crazy openings, any free kills at the start, don't bother going for any kind of spawn peaks, and just run the clock down. I think that's the best way to take down ShadowNet, and Ferox seems to be working that out.
Yeah, they seem to have somewhat figured out what is the general kind of approach by ShadowNet. Is just essentially for them to try to take as many angles as possible, and if they are able to take at least 2 of them, this is where it's gonna be their pressure point to really play it out. Kage gonna be droning up ahead for lags in hopes of finding some of the roamers, but I don't think there are going to be any roamers per se, as Ferox are actually just gonna be prompting for a full-on bottom floor turtle hold.
Yeah, and they've got the lineup to do it for sure. I mean, Deptra's been having some really good rounds on Doc, and the added healing is going to be quite nice as well. So firepower seems to be all that they really need to have going. Warden, of course, he's going to be sitting pretty far back looking for that roam play. No one really droning him out either. So ShadowNet not really aware of where he is. In fact, they might be just walking down the stairs, although they have an idea that some naughty little roamer might be down there. So just chuck the track stingers down there. Make sure they can't get up there without any kind of noise. And so they have been pushed back a little bit here. But ShadowNet have half the round to go. They may be able to edge out a strategy here, but I'm going to get worried as soon as that clock gets under a minute. That's where ShadowNet seem to get a little antsy. But here's the good push. That lags, falls down, and he doesn't even get any damage in return. That is pretty horrible right now for ShadowNet.
Yeah,
actually,
ShadowNet able to, ShadowNet will be able to actually react fairly quickly, as Levi was the one to trade out Todd, as Todd wasn't able to really finish off the job. And that is going to be seeing us at the fact that ShadowNet now has the full control of the ground floor as well. Nova is going to be the one to start opening up some of the floors. Same goes for the remainder of ShadowNet, as they're going to be using the breach charges to get some even more openings on the now what is ceiling of Ferox's garage hold. But right now, it's all just seeming to be falling apart. Levi picks up another one for himself as Shade falls down. The SAS duo is gone and out, and, well, ShadowNet are looking like they just might be able to claim their 4th point.
Yeah, well, maybe hold your breath here, because they've got to just clean up the end here. Deptra is still alive. He's a terrifying opponent to go up against. It's going to be pretty hard to find a way to take him out. But hang on, he's been knocked on his ass there and get taken out as well. This is where come back in to clean.
Yeah, this is where the push will be coming through. Warden gets a triple kill. He needs to ace this out on barely any health, but once again, in a similar situation, is just all falling apart for him. ShadowNet to claim 4th round for themselves, as now it is a 4-2 ending for the first half of Consulate.
Yeah, and big apologies, everyone, if you're not a fan of my robot voice. I'm working on it. It's a pretty good impersonation, but it's definitely getting better and a little more human-like, unfortunately. So here I am, back once more. But that is a good half for ShadowNet to clean that one up out at the end. You got a little worried in the previous round, but for that all said and done, they cleaned it up. They got a good 4-2 finish, and now it's just finishing off the second half. really putting their defense to the test, but really it's putting Ferox's attack to the test. If they can come in and just smash ShadowNet, then almost in a way we sort of expected it to happen, they absolutely can still win this map.
Oh yeah. Yeah, so far their general pacing has been absolutely phenomenal against Ferox, and Ferox seeming to be just either caught off guard on some of the unfortunate timings, or it's just them getting overzealous rather on some of the pushes that they've been attempting to do on defense. And whilst what I'm about to say is probably going to be like almost too basic, but maybe if you are on defense, don't go for over-aggression, given that, well, it's the opposing team that is supposed to be coming to you rather than you trying to go and peeking them.
Yeah, especially because that seems to be ShadowNet's main point of weakness, is let them come to you. I mean, sure, you might get hit by the pre-fires sometimes, maybe you get droned out, but they definitely take it very cautiously, and that sometimes works out for sure. But if they get close to the clock, getting down to 0, they're the ones that start to make these risky plays. Sometimes it's calculated and sometimes it's really well pulled off by ShadowNet, but Ferox can definitely snag them by that and make it a lot harder to get them to find that balance. So I think you're definitely onto the ball here, Cthulhu, with, just be basic. Do the simple thing. Just sit back and let the attackers run to you.
Yeah. Well, maybe this is exactly what ShadowNet will be attempting to do, as they're going to be awaiting for Ferox to start their aggression. Warden, this time playing on Ashe, the phenomenal fragger for Ferox, could occasionally pop off, but the consistency is definitely at question here. Instead, we'll be just vaulting out and rather going to be trying to maybe reposition himself. Meanwhile, a duo roam from ShadowNet will be coming through, and that is Minxie, and I believe that was Nova, yeah. Nova with the C4, who tried to get some openings, but instead will be just damaging Sushi with that C4. And, well, the Thatcher player is definitely not going to be having a fun time, but at the very least, he should have the ability to throw in the EMP grenades to get rid of some of the utility. And, well, the plant is actually going to be starting to go down. Shade, completely uncontested, no frags, no peaks, nothing will be coming around, and even no damage to be dealt, as I'm not too sure what was ShadowNet doing or what was ShadowNet planning, because not a single move has been done by them.
Yeah, it's quite confusing actually. So they must be very confident in the post plant here to get it done. They've already lost one member though, but Minxie has quickly traded that one back. I think Minxie still has a C4 in her pocket too, so may be able to still find something with that. But for now going on, but it's ShadowNet all taking over the room right now, so as long as they can just hold the lines, hold the angles, they may be able to go for this defuse right now, but they're going for the frags. They ran out the window, and Todd cleans it up as well. Minxie, she had to sprint to the diffuser or for her life, but Ferox won't let that happen, and Deptra wraps up round number 7 for Ferox.
So now Ferox are, once again, only 1 point away from drawing out the scoreline against ShadowNet, and out of all of the possibilities, out of all of the scorelines, I was not expecting that halfway through the map number 2, I will be seeing ShadowNet to be the ones leading the scoreline, which is a good sign for them. They have been improving throughout the past 3 weeks, and this seeming to be like their kind of one of the rather bigger examinations for themselves, seeing if they can beat rather some of the higher end teams. And if they do, well, that is going to be also quite a boost for the self-esteem as well.
Yeah, because this is arguably, one of the harder teams for them to fight. Obviously not in the top 3, but still up there, and they would have easier matches. So for them to do so well here would feel fantastic. But in this individual map here, Cthulhu, we definitely have to remember that this is still ShadowNet's first time now swapping onto defense. They haven't won a round here yet, so Ferox could just be looking super strong on attack after that. I mean, look, that round looked pretty good, so I don't really see a reason why it can't happen again, although it was a little odd in how the plant happened. ShadowNet kind of just let it happen, so it's another question where we ask, what happens if they don't just let the plant happen? I mean, it sounds ridiculous, but that was the case in that round, and it was a big part of why things got so chaotic.
Yeah, bringing in the chaos seeming to be working pretty well for Ferox, or at the very least sowing chaos whilst being on attack. for ShadowNet, they're not particularly fans of such idea, given that they're pretty much being given a taste of their own medicine, at least partially. And, well, yeah, things definitely not seeming to be working out quite well. No Bandit Trick, no Mute Trick will be there, and Deptra is going to be given pretty much a carte blanche on getting the breaches going.
Yeah, just going to open it nice and wide up. 2 big holes to make their way through. Everything done, and so they don't know just yet that there's a few defenders, but they probably have a pretty good idea. But they're going to call in the boys and just make sure they've got the whole squad ready to assault from this side. And probably one person around on the other side, I believe. No, but even Todd's just over there to the left. So yeah, it's going to be a big push coming in from the front here. They've got to drain quite a lot of ADS right now. At least there's no magnets. But yeah, it's a rough one here. They do have to worry because there are definitely some roamers hanging around on ShadowNet, but luckily they're all quite far outside at the moment. Probably a good reason to take this strong push through here.
I like how on point Warden is with his breaching charges. Not a single miss. He just gets rid of all the cameras, all of that bulletproof utility that could be used further down the line. Just completely denies ShadowNet. And right now for ShadowNet, they will need to keep their aim true, because the moment they will start losing out on those firefight, the moment they're going to start losing their lives to fantastic Kobe's of Todd, it's just all going to be falling apart. 5 versus 3 right now, as it's just, once again, it's seeming like Ferox might just be able to reclaim the round into their favor.
Yeah, and we haven't even started to hype up the Todd God here with his grenade skills, but just as we watch here, Ferox looking to just clean up the last few defenders. It looks like shouldn't be too much trouble with that going on here, but yeah, here it comes, the final few kills. But yeah, Todd, we forgot about his grenades. Flawless round, by the way, by Ferox, but opened up beautifully by Todd.
Oh man, yeah, Todd, he does not miss with those grenades. If there's a target painted on anyone on the opposing team, he will get them. Like, not even worth questioning whether he will or not. He will. It's just a matter of time that he will find them and he will get the frag. So with that said, we're back to a draw. Ferox finally managed to recover from what was a very explosive first half of ShadowNet, whereas for ShadowNet it's completely the opposite. It's seeming that they are on kind of a bit of a back foot, and well, maybe future rounds will be seeing them find that recovery as well. But as of now, things are definitely looking like Ferox might be swinging the momentum for themselves.
But I do love how Ferox are doing it as well. They're doing it by reading what ShadowNet are doing and just reacting to it. The way that they approached that attack down there, pretty much perfect. They knew a lot of common positions by ShadowNet. Nades are going to be perfect for that. No ADS left after they drained it all out. They just approached it from one side, brute forced it. And that's exactly a defense that is not going to be able to hold an attack like that. So Ferox certainly know their opponents. It may have taken them a few rounds to do so, but now that we've swapped sides, now that they know their opponents, I don't think that Ferox are going to be able to really worry too much here about ShadowNet. The attack just seems too solid.
5 seconds left.
Oh yeah, attack from Ferox has been just
Attackers are moving.
really well oiled up. Like, not a whole lot of mistakes were made as well. Timing was there, and certainly looks like ShadowNet are having a few struggles. But just as I say that, Levi are going to be getting that spawn peak onto Deptra. That is a good night for the Thermite out of all the players, and that is the breach fully and thoroughly denied here for this round.
And you got to wonder if I even picked out the Thermite specifically there, because that's just the best one, especially after how Ferox took the last round as well, the way they were breaching inside. So it's like ShadowNet are reading how Ferox read ShadowNet, and now they're the ones countering Ferox for this, at least for that thing.
Yeah, well, Ferox right now will be going in for the try. Another coconut from Todd, as he will be claiming life of Levi once again. A little bit of a kind of assault for assault between the two teams, as Todd is just unrelenting with those frag grenades. 4 versus 4 as a minute and 48 seconds is remaining, as Ferox are only now starting to make a push, and meanwhile ShadowNet are scattered quite far away from the side. If the White Swing and the main push will come through right now from Ferox, the only person that they need to deal with right now is the Kage, the maestro of ShadowNet, and well, Sushi on rotation will be able to catch one of the players off guard. That's Minxie, and right now for ShadowNet they need to start defaulting back to the site.
Yeah, but they can do it with only 3 people. The clock is getting a little closer to 0, but without Kage, that's going to be super hard.
Man.
And yeah, here comes Ferox just cleaning it all up.
Another one. Oh, there's the peak, though. Hold your breath on that one, but not for long. Ferox, after a little bit of a trade out, will be able to finally close things out for themselves. And this is the round for them to take again. Garage will be falling into the hands of Ferox, and this is now their lead.
Yeah, and the difference here is that the rounds individually are looking more and more in Ferox's control. It was a nice little way for ShadowNet to open up that round, but for Ferox to just turn around and make it not even really matter is something to behold, right? Now we get to see what they do if arguably they don't just lose Thermite right at the start of the round here. It's going to be, a different site as well, so probably a little harder to go for the spawn peaks. Ferox, again, it's kind of the same way I was thinking about ShadowNet's attack. Ferox aren't really showing any reason to think that their attacks aren't going to work.
Yeah, it almost seems like Ferox on defense were kind of just experimenting rather with some of the peaks. They didn't have a whole lot of confidence kind of behind their plays. Here on them being on offense, you can see with each and every swing, with each and every grenade, it's just, they're already almost calling it out. Yep, this guy, he's about to die. And you can see the coconut of Todd flying in, and bang, there's the kill. So yeah, it almost seems like just, yeah, Ferox have managed to really just find their mojo, find their pacing here, and this is exactly what is propelling them even further in this matchup to potentially even just keep on this streak, because so far they've managed to match the initial 3-round streak that ShadowNet had, and well, for round number 10, might be looking to continue this streak rather than break it.
Yeah, and what was meant to be we thought was going to be a really quick map ended up being quite long, and all because ShadowNet started to make it look quick for their end. It's just been a bit of a roller coaster of a map here, but Ferox, they're ready to end the ride and go downhill for the potentially final 2 rounds here. And so they're just looking for some of their last attacks here. ShadowNet, as you can see, are pretty far back here, so Ferox is going to be pretty safe to go on inside at least a few rooms, but definitely going to have to be careful as they approach some of these corridors here. A lot of danger just around the corner. You can see ShadowNet all holed up here. It's been a lot of these openings getting free kills on the ShadowNet. Apart from last round, although we got traded back. But there it is. Here we go. Warden about to turn the corner. He's just still clearing utility. So no kills just yet, but Ferox, they're executing pretty quickly on this. They're going to have a lot of time to work with.
Loading mag.
Yeah, quite a fair bit of time will be also used up here. Already minute and 48 seconds remaining here for ShadowNet to keep on defending. Not a single frag, not a single bit of damage dealt. It's a game of kind of just info gathering and preparing the collapse that Ferox could potentially have here. Deptra on a drone should be able to spot that Valkyrie, and surely he will, denying the C4 as well to be thrown out from below. Will be assisting his teammates to really get that frag. And not the frag grenade nearly takes life of Lags, leaving him on literally 1 HP. Another frag grenade is being prepped up, and will it be able to claim life? No, we won't. Lags will be able to jump out, but only to jump right into the sights of Deptra. It is a 3v5, not a single damage by Ferox, and it's just completely, they're running away scot-free on all those frags.
Yeah, and just getting the easiest kills with the jump surprises, the jump scares, and it continues. Todd picking that one up. At least they tried to get some damage back, but the plant's going to go down. Shade, it's like cool guys don't look at explosions or cool guys don't need to see at all. Getting the plant done while blinded. Beautifully done here. Cinematic, in fact. Flawless round for Ferox. And this is what we were expecting before the match started.
Yeah, this is the Ferox that I was talking about. This is the Ferox that should have been for the past 2 weeks. These are the guys that I was thinking that I remember just being absolutely nuts. Each one of them. Warden, Sushi, Deptra, Todd, Shade, all of them have some fantastic long-run Pro League experience. And finally, they're able to get activated. Finally, they're able to really take the control of the map, take control of the game into their favor. And this exact thing is being shown just right here, with the cafeteria and garage being potentially the final map to be played out, as we are on the match point for Ferox.
Yeah, and so ShadowNet really have to pull out all the stops here. They're going to have to win a lot of rounds in a row, but they have proven they can do that. So it's not out of the woods just yet, but it's still 2 more rounds, and that's the hope for overtime right now. So things definitely going to be looking very shaky for ShadowNet. They've played this point before. It didn't really go too well. Ferox definitely read their play, but are they going to be able to do it again?
Well, only one way to find out. So far, both of the garage pushes that they have done on their attack were absolutely just almost flawless, apart from a few deaths here and there. But now, yeah, ShadowNet, they are bringing in a few changes here and there. They're bringing in the Castle, they're bringing in the Kaid and the Bandit as well, to ensure that the opposition will have quite a hard time to even get through their breach. So here, it's a good idea to change things up operators-wise, but I'm curious how will it impact the overall performance of ShadowNet.
Yeah, so I guess the question is going to be, how do Ferox try to approach it? They got the breach incredibly easy last time, so it shouldn't be too hard to do here, although the difference is this one's electrocuted, so the EMP should be coming out once they roll Sushi around here. They're going to need him for sure, but of course Levi just around on the other side of the door. They're going to have to drone him out, but let's see if he can get the trick done.
Yeah, well, there's the plan of the diffuser economy. Sorry, not diffuser. The breach charge will be coming through. Levi got distracted by a peek of Warden, and unfortunately for Warden will be claiming his life as well. But nonetheless, it's still a breach fairly early into the game, but the wall, the other part of the wall is still reinforced and still electrocuted, or at the very least until the short time. And well, there's the breach charge number 2 coming through. So at the very least for Ferox, they're going to be having a wide open side entrance right into garage.
It does feel like they kind of paid a life to open it though, so now they're going to make it happen 4v5, and it probably could have happened the last time they did this because it was so smoothly done. They did, well, not rely, but they did open things off with a pretty good Todd grenade. So if they can find that again, Levi would be especially vulnerable. But of course, here he is. Here's the man. Can he get it done? Right off the wall, over towards Levi, but unfortunately, I don't think Levi even noticed it. So Todd, well, it didn't happen this time, but he's got the second chance, right? You get a free shot, you get 2. And so he throws them in and still doesn't find anything. A whiff again.
Yeah, a bit of a miscalculation or maybe misinformation on the positioning of a few of the defenders. Time, meanwhile, has been running lower and lower, and not a single response back onto ShadowNet. So possibly this is where ShadowNet will be able to slow down the bleed of the rounds, but the smoke darts are going to be coming through. There's the pre-fires by Kage as well. The C4 from Levi will be shutting things down. Sushi only will be able to get a consolidation frag, but even he will be traded out. With a matter of 30 seconds, well, ShadowNet will be able to find yet another frag. Lags to close it out.
Yeah, and just the difference in the operators here shows how different the hold in the garage can be. It's a lot easier when you force Ferox to put so much effort into opening up the door. It's a lot different when Todd can't get his magic to work. And so it was just going to be an awkward push after all of those things didn't really work. So ShadowNet changing it up enough to make a difference there. It certainly worked out. Now they're closer and closer to that overtime. They need to win this one here to bring it to overtime, but Ferox 1 round away, still sitting on that match point and still sitting very close to grabbing map number 1.
Yeah, it's going to be a very close contention at the end of the day. 12 rounds, full regulation is going to be in full effect. Levi to swap over to the Oryx is going to be quite an interesting choice for what is potentially the final round, or maybe the final round before the overtime to be coming through, as well. ShadowNet have managed to, at least for the time being, to stop the bleeding of the rounds, but Ferox, I don't think they are going to be really too sold on just being able to get a few streaks going without claiming the map. So this is their chance to finally close it out without having to go into OT.
The Oryx pick is quite surprising to me, because it's either a secret play that they're trying to make here in a must-win round, or it's something that they thought would be good earlier on that they don't really care about trying, but they didn't bring it out. So it's really kind of confusing. Oryx is also a bit more of a do-or-die. He's a win-more character, so I wonder if this is going to be what they need. If they win this round, it's going to be pretty hard if Levi can make it work. He has to make it work here. He's got a lot of good roaming potential, especially with that vault jump, so he can definitely catch them by surprise here, especially all the way down from the basement. So definitely keep your eye out for Levi, but I'm keen to see why they're going to be bringing out Oryx here on a must-win round.
It's definitely going to be a must-win, actually, for both sides here, as Ferox would want to close it out as quickly as possible without waffling any more of the rounds for themselves, whereas for ShadowNet, this is their final chance for redemption, final chance to really have a crack at another attempt for the 2-0 possibility for them. But it seems that Ferox were able to get activated, at least for the most of it, and able to make a comeback, but being on that one round remaining is definitely going to be doing quite some work on potential mentality as well.
Yeah, it's going the distance here.
Yeah.
But yeah, so sorry. Go ahead.
Go ahead, yep.
Okay. I'll go, because that's how we go here on LPL Pro. Warden just draining down anything he can, opening up the pathway for the rest of Ferox. So they've got some pretty decent position here. They want to kind of surround the site here if they can on A, but Minxie will definitely make that quite dangerous to walk down her line of sight. So everyone's going to be potentially avoiding that one here. We also have to remember, Levi is just hanging out, chilling out down in the basement. He's going to be jumping up at any moment to go in and give anyone on Ferox a good old whack and shade. He's going to kick things off by getting Lags out of the way. Lags roam is now going to be off the table, so it's all up to Levi now for ShadowNet to make it work on defense.
And Levi is looking like he just might get the run out here. He's waiting. He needs that timing, and trying to find that head, and will be able to actually find a shot. Kage to follow suit as well. That is Shade and Warden off the board, gone and out, but Sushi is able to refrag, get another one, but instantly traded out. Sushi is down, but there's another Alder player. Will be shut down. Todd is just swinging in full swing, and now it's just all down to Nova to try to deny the push, but Nova with the information coming through, pushing it into a 1v1 situation. Now it's all up to Todd, the man, the myth, the legend. Can he find the solution here for the team? Can he get that plan going? Because Nova right now will be quite far away to prevent any further plant, at the very least for the time being.
10 seconds to go.
Yeah, Todd should have enough time to easily get the plant down here, but Nova is certainly sprinting his way up there. The timer, it doesn't matter, because now it's on Nova's side. He's got to go in and make the pressure play. He's poked his head out, and Todd was waiting for him. And Ferox, they take out round 12 and take out Consulate.
What a close map here. Out of all of the possibilities that I would have expected here, this is the last thing that I could have thought. But massive props to ShadowNet for pushing it all the way for the 12 rounds here on Consulate. And my God, that was just phenomenal game and a phenomenal return by Ferox close to the end of the match. Smite, you muted. Right. Well, yeah, maybe the internet as Smite. We may have lost him for the.
No. You haven't lost me. You haven't lost me at all. I had some really important things to say, and you guys just weren't listening. So I'll say them again. It is the draw now that ShadowNet are going to be hoping for. They want that 1 point, and all that's going to do is bring Ferox down to them in the leaderboard and make them overtakeable. But I wasted so much time talking to no one that now we're going to have to go to a quick break. And once we return, we're going to be back on the cafe. Get your wallet out and get ready to get a coffee because we are heading over to Cafe Dostoyevsky for our final map of the day here, ShadowNet versus Ferox, in a much closer series than maybe we thought it was ever going to be. However, it still ends up in the result we thought it was going to be, which is Ferox grabbing map number 1 in a tight 7-1, 7-5. 7-1's not very tight. In a 7-5 series. So now map 2 is going to be, can Ferox clean it up for the 2-0? Or do we see ShadowNet tie it up and nab a point each?
Yeah, well, this is going to be ShadowNet's map pick, Cafe, that is, as I think we only saw it one time yesterday out of the whole season, and well, it was quite a banger of a map as well to really play out. So I definitely think that we might be seeing yet another close series here in front of us. Sorry, there we go. There's the word.
Yeah, but I've got to say, it does kind of feel like this is having a mind blank here. Ferox are working out ShadowNet. They've kind of got the idea of what ShadowNet have been doing. They've been on a bit of a roll, and yeah, ShadowNet did pull back a few rounds and show that they're still not going down without a fight. But it definitely feels like whatever early kind of momentum that ShadowNet had, it's kind of gone now, and now Ferox can kind of work off of that. They know how ShadowNet play. The question is, are ShadowNet going to know how Ferox play enough to take them out, or at least make them work really hard for it?
Yeah, well, Ferox definitely going to be making ShadowNet work for each and every round, it seems. Albeit that their defense has left me with a fair few questions, and similar, so will be asked here as well for Cafe, and as to how strong their defense or how weak their defense is rather going to be. Back when most of the Ferox roster was known as Fury, and during the previous Pro League season, they were actually able to take the full map of one of the top teams in APAC, that is Fnatic. So they did have a few accolades coming through on the Cafe, but this is a slightly modified roster. We don't have a fair few players here and there, but the core 3 are still here. They're still ready to play. They're still ready to jam. So I definitely think that it's their kind of experience of playing against higher tier teams on Cafe will be tested against some of the rather more unpredictable, more momentum-based plays that ShadowNet might be bringing in here.
Yeah, ShadowNet definitely have some weird things in their sleeves. They showed that a little bit last week. Not so much tonight, but I mean, they're still willing to throw in things like the Oryx. So it's definitely something that they are keen to throw out here. I'd expect to see it happen at least a few times here on Cafe, but maybe more than what we saw on Consulate might be needed here for them to pick up a win. And even then, it's not really guaranteed to pick them up a win, especially if Ferox kind of know what's going on. I mean, there's only so many times you can throw out some different kind of strategies before they say, okay, that's just how these guys play. We know that, and we're going to handle it perfectly fine. I think a big example of that was that garage hold, where Ferox kind of read exactly what ShadowNet were going to do for defense and walked right in. It did get flipped on its head, though, when ShadowNet read that. So it does. I kind of love how it sort of adapts whenever ShadowNet's in, that teams kind of read them and then ShadowNet reads them back, and it kind of goes back and forth. You get evolving maps here when they're on the field.
Evolving maps for sure. It's rather going to be more of a battle for who can counter-strike each other more. But yeah, only time will show really here.
Yeah, it's like that JoJo meme where he's like, "Oh, but I countered your strategy by countering your strategy," or something like that. I don't know the quote off the top of my head. I'm not a weeb, so don't call me out on chat. But we are getting the players ready, you guys. It is the last map of the day, and it's even getting kind of late for some of the Kiwis here. So probably a little bit tired for them. So it's okay. It's okay to give them a little bit of a breather, especially after such a tight map. You can imagine some of the players feeling like they want to make sure they are 100% ready before going into this one, because it could be the killer of the goals here for either team. Shadownet if they lose, Ferox if they win. They're both looking for those exact things, right? Shadownet don't want to lose here, otherwise their contention for anything but relegations might be out the window.
Yeah, for Shadownet, they are going to be struggling for even to find a single point here. This is going to be their, the point of redemption here, the map where they need to make things, each and everything work in their favor rather than for Ferox. And well, to kick things off, the Thatcher ban, nothing too unusual here. Rather, for Shadownet though, they're going to be banning out Maverick, so this will be forcing the attack to really work for their hard breach. And whether it's the Hibana, whether it's a Thermite, nonetheless, you will still need to play out the vertical game now that Thatcher and Maverick, the two operators that ignore any utility, will be going out.
Yeah, so other than that, though, I mean, pretty normal stuff here. Mira's always going to be banned away. I don't think we're ever going to see her again. At least not until she gets patched out. But Maverick and Thatcher, again, like the combo of them getting off the table, like you said, it means that they're going to have to change up the way they play. So kind of like how they react to the bans. Again, another popular one, Valkyrie, going to be taken away. No one really likes playing against it. It's very rough. But it doesn't always slip into the bans. But here it is now.
Here it is now indeed. Valkyrie, after seeing quite some action on Consulate, will be finally banned out. And well, it's going to be Ferox to kick things off on defense once again. Bar and Cocktail Lounge is nothing too unusual. A whole lot of teams do really like to kick things off on this very site. So, curious how will Ferox approach this, given that they are bringing in the Wamai and Jaeger combo, plus a Mute to kind of delay some of the advancements, and a Goyo with a Maestro to top things off. But what could have been a cool play was Nova on Glass, given that, well, Glass, with his current state, plus the fact that Ying has the smoke grenades, a fair few people were prophesizing that he could make a return into competitive meta with the whole Glass and Ying combo, but it's not going to be seen, and, well, there's quite a reason for it, and namely, it is that very Jaeger and Wamai combo.
Yeah, but bringing it back to what Ferox are running here, it's going to make it so hard for Shadownet to make a lot of progress, at least safely, right? They can't just run through each room. They're going to have to, chuck a few utility in there, make sure that they can drain any ADS if it's there at all. It's going to be pretty annoying, pretty slow if they're not aware of it, and so they do have to be careful here. And I like it. I love how Ferox are doing it, but the issue with it is that it's a little risky, right? Like it's putting a lot of eggs into one basket, and that's slowing down their presence, their pushing power. Even with like Goyo and stuff, you can buy so much time by just having the shield burn away, making them wait it out. So it's going to be a good way to run down Shadownet's clock, which is always a good thing against them. But if it doesn't work, then Shadownet should clean it up. We do have Warden actually on half health already though from a peak.
Yeah, Warden being low on health, that is not what you want right now out of all the things. Even with barely a minute being drained out, one of your main fraggers, one of your roamers rather, being fairly low on health, is definitely going to be putting a little bit of a strain there on Ferox's roster, but not too much. But meanwhile, Levi has actually made a pretty confident push over to the piano room. And well, after being tagged up quite a whole bunch, we'll be forcing Warden off his position, even though the Goyo shield is still there. But maybe it's just the factor of a potential presence is what could be counting in.
Yeah, now luckily Shadownet are able to find a lot more space. They found some rooms not just filled with, ADS and whatnot, so they can make a little bit of progress. They can even get a bit of droning done to make sure they can move in. But as you can see, they're still trying to clear out the room by room strat. But finally now they're by the B site. It's a little harder to just walk into this room, but luckily they're right next to it, and they've got a minute 20 to go. So Shadownet have made progress, not at the cost of a lot of health. Levi's pretty low though, so he's definitely going to be one that probably wants to hang back pretty rough as Sledge as well, if you ever want to use the hammer.
Talking about the hammer and the sickle right now, there's the peak by Nova. We'll be able to shut things down for Shade. And that is the C4 and I believe the TCSG gone off the board without any trade or any kind of damage exchange for that matter. So that is a fantastic beginning here for Nova to kick things off. Similar thing can be done here to Warden as well, as he's guarding the white stairs. If he can get the gunfight going for himself, fantastic. If not, well, ShadowNet are going to be having yet another avenue open up for pushing.
By attackers.
Yeah, and Ferox, they actually still have quite a lot left in the table. There was still a Vulcan shield up, although they did just lose Sushi, which is pretty rough, but luckily anyone can blow up those shields if they need to. Now, ShadowNet, here's the test again, the final seconds. Only 3 people to clean up here, but Deptra is always going to be a rough one here. He's always one to clutch it out here, and Warden as well. These are not the guys you want to be worrying about as you're going in for the final push. Luckily, numbers do usually win out, so they are going to pick it up, and through the wall, Deptra. The spider senses were tingling and he found the target, saving the round.
Oh man, it's just a flurry of kills, a flurry of action, as Ferox managing to really pick that slack back up and kick things off pretty early in their favor for map number 2. First round to go into towards them, and yeah, that's a bit of a warning sign, I suppose, for ShadowNet, as they were the ones that kind of starting things off real well, but couldn't really close anything out.
Yeah, and you can see it was because the clock was so close to 0, they had to go in for the plant, so things got a little messy. Ferox forcing them into the messy position definitely helped them win that one out there. The next part of that, obviously, was Deptra just shooting through the wall, but, I mean, the other 2 people that were alive at that point, easily just as big threats, easily just as able to clean up the round there, which is just impressive here. So even with a numbers advantage here, ShadowNet do struggle just a little bit when they just have to go for those rushes. Of course, every team does. Feels like ShadowNet are in that position a little more often than other teams.
ShadowNet seeming to be a little bit maybe feeling distraught rather after that first map, given that they had such a great beginning to it, and then to be completely deconstructed, completely demolished by Ferox is certainly a bit of a bitter feeling for them. So here, on round number 2, they will need to reset. They will need to just make sure that they will nail each one of their shots, because right now Ferox are holding pretty well. They got a pretty solid setup overall, but interestingly enough, Shade just decides pretty much straight away forfeit the position no matter what, and maybe just up for a cheeky reinforce. And well, with the fact that ShadowNet is just going to go for a top-down clear, he will have just plenty of time to return back to his position.
So looking pretty similar to what we saw in the first round here. Things looked okay for ShadowNet. In fact, they looked really good at the start of the round. They got a few kills, they brought up their numbers. The only thing is it just took them a little too long to do so. So it's good to see them going a little quicker. They still have drained just over a minute though, but luckily now that they're inside, they've got the main squad here. They just have to be careful on these peaks, and you can see Levi, he's going in pretty hard and fast here at the moment, linking up with Lags as well. Those guys are a dangerous combo to have around together. Being led by the drone of Kage as well means that they'll know exactly what's in front, but splitting up again, they definitely know where they want to go, and they're just trying to grab every single room on the way.
Sure is. ShadowNet trying to make sure that not a single nook and cranny is left unchecked, and that they will know exactly where the position of their opponents is going to be. But for now, it's a fairly slow round for both sides, rather, as Ferox they're just waiting for the push, really. They're just waiting for the opposing team to really come to them, and so that they will be able to play off the mistakes that ShadowNet could be making. Whereas for ShadowNet, they still got quite a path to really make for themselves here, given that only now they're just starting to open up the floor right above the side, and even that is going to be proven to be given it quite a challenge, as Deptra is the one to get the C4 onto Minxie, and that is the buck of board.
Yeah, I mean, opening up the floor, always a good idea, gives you a great position, but when you're doing it, you always have to be careful of the C4 plays like that. So Depp should have picked that one up, snagging onto, taking Minxie off the table as well, the captain of ShatterNet. It's going to be followed by Kage as well. So this is again looking devastating here for ShatterNet. This time they even don't have the numbers advantage, 30 seconds to go. Lags and Levi and Nova, definitely three of the players that you'd be okay with having in this situation, but again, they've got to rush in and they've got to get these shots almost immediately, and they can barely get through the window as Warden pitching his tent, camping for the weekend. Luckily, he's been kicked off the camping grounds, he's been banned, but luckily the rest of the campers are here to continue the trip of the camping trip. I don't know where that was going.
Well, yeah, the camping trip has managed to really work out for the most part there for Ferox, given that they were able to claim the kitchen defense in a very confident manner. But yeah, for ShadowNet right now, they need to start making some changes. They need to up their aggression. They need to make sure that they have the life drones going in front of their fraggers, because so far it seems that the slow and steady pace is not particularly working out quite well for them. And a choice of a Maru by Nova, I fear that's a bait. Yes, it is. And well, a switch out to, I guess, yeah, that was either Ash or Buck. Well, sorry, not the Buck, but yeah, Ash is going to be the main one to be switched over. And well, yeah, I mean, ShadowNet sticking once again to the same composition comparative to what Ferox are bringing in.
Yeah, I mean, remember where things started going wrong last time, though, and that was where they had a C4 onto Minxie. I mean, that was the start of things going pretty badly. That was still winnable at that point, but certainly a lot harder. So it's not too surprising to see ShadowNet trying for very similar compositions and trying to do the same thing, but because it really is just coming down to execution. I think that's been the story for ShadowNet throughout at least the last few weeks, is ShadowNet always seem to have a good plan. And they even seem to execute it on it pretty well for the half of the round, but then as soon as something goes wrong, something makes the plan a little harder to execute, they kind of struggle, and they kind of struggle to get it done quickly. And so I think we're continuing to see that. It did seem like that got fixed a little in the first 3 rounds back on Consulate, but I'm kind of worried again. And Ferox are going to probably show exactly why it's so hard, but again, I'm not too surprised to see them try the same composition again. They've got to nail that execution. They'll get it eventually.
Yeah, eventually is going to be probably the main kind of key point here for ShadowNet. You just keep on trying, because they have been kind of going on that I guess the improvement curve, you could say, that where they would be getting more and more rounds under their belt. They would be pushing more and more teams kind of to the point of nearly winning the maps off them. But Ferox so far seeming to be the team that may be a little bit too big to try to chew on for ShadowNet. But hey, it's still an early time for the round, and well, it's Minxie to kind of kick off here the gunfights for ShadowNet.
And that's a great one to take off the table at the start. Deptra gone is fantastic. However, they've lost Nova, and they've also almost lost Minxie here. So it's still pretty rough for them. It's going to be very dependent on how much Minxie can stay alive. Is she just going to absorb one bullet, or is she going to get a full kill? We've seen players do both throughout tonight. Lags, in fact, was probably the last one to have some pretty clutch low health moments. But here we go. Warden going to be pushed back halfway down the stairs. He's still got plenty of protection. He'll be all right, but can definitely get pushed back even further. But if he sees Minxie, sees anyone, goes up for the push. No one's there. They were hiding, but they keep poking their head back out. Eventually, someone is going to get their head ripped off, but not if Warden just goes to fall back. He's buying a lot of time for Ferox, though, and that is key.
Exactly. The key is there with the Magnus being out of the game. And now it's the only thing that is also out of the game, the eyes of the IQ. And well, Todd, with the vertical play, is just going to be denying that push and that repel in by Minxie. 3v4, nearly said 5, will be in the full effect, but 38 seconds is also there, so the timer is now ticking, and ShadowNet need to make that push very swiftly and very quickly. They have been able to pull off a few very gnarly pushes, and Oh, they just need to attempt to repeat the same success here, but so far things are just looking like Ferox has everything on lockdown.
Yeah, problem is Ferox just know where ShadowNet are at the moment, and that could be dangerous. I'm not sure if they've got any C4 left, but I definitely see that they've got a pulse. So if he finds anything, he can track them pretty hard. But here they go. Here's the entry. But Shade, he's been hiding himself. But Levi and Lags have picked up the kills. Kage going for the plant, so Levi needs to keep it alive. Sushi is going to go in. He's looking for it, looking for anyone going on the plant. Finds Levi. One more. He needs Kage. Kage is going to be looking to hold this one down, but it's too much to handle there. The defuse will come out, and Ferox with yet another round in their pocket. This is just flipping the table. 3 rounds in a row.
Bomb defusing attempt failed.
I guess it's ShadowNet that's going to be flipping the table there as well, as that was even the plan down. There was the element of surprise as well for Hibana, but yeah, unfortunately for Kage, Sushi is just too much of a ninja at this point. Just vanished, reappeared, and proceeded to pull off the act of remove head from the shoulders with the bullets.
Yeah, always a good plan. Always a good plan here in Rainbow Six. And so with that, 3 rounds in the pocket. We said last time, back on Consulate, when ShadowNet did this, we were thinking, wow, is this going to continue? Is this going to be the new story of ShadowNet demolishing Ferox? But here we are. Now it's Ferox with 3 rounds in a row. And this time, the questions are not really being raised. It's just, look, Ferox looked very solid on being able to hold more and more defenses. Oh, okay, here's your Amaru. I'm going to stop what I'm talking about, and I want to talk about Amaru here.
Defenders, protect your bombs from being defused.
Yeah, Amaru could be introducing just the right amount of chaos that ShadowNet need. Nova with the G8 could potentially make quite a fair bit of damage there, and with the fact that Amaru has seen a buff where she pulls out the guns way quicker, the rush strat is very much a thing that could happen here against Ferox. So ShadowNet, if they are able to really play off that momentum that they could base thanks to Nova's repel in, it could be huge. This is where they could really break the momentum that Ferox so far managed to gain.
Feels like this could be a lightning fast round, or at least we can see who's likely going to be the one to win here right from the get-go. But we'll see how much Nova sets it up. It does seem to be revolving a little bit around the Amaru pick here. Again, if you can get this jump on them, that's going to be great. We've seen ShadowNet come close in the rounds where they get the opening kill, especially if it's onto someone like Deptra. So they can find that again, and Amaru and Nova is definitely going to be a way to do it. Then maybe they can find a way to come back in here. But Deptra, again, like, he's the one that gets taken out early sometimes, and it's very valuable. But he's made it out this time.
And barely with any real damage really here for him. So being able to run away and still keep on generating those discs is going to be just the right thing that Ferox would need to just keep up just that extra oomph, that extra something for the team to really have some cover from those grenades and from any more projectiles. Because, I mean, let's take a look. Lag so far has 4 projectiles to throw in. 2 flashbangs from Kage, 2 flashbangs from Mingxi, I believe 2 flashbangs from Nova as well. So that's a whole lot of utility that can be dumped right onto those Jaeger devices, onto those magnets, and well, same can be said for the bullets that will be dumped into Levi's body. And as he is taking even more damage here and can't seem to be able to return any fire.
Yeah, but still surprising that he's managed to stay alive here. But half health is not going to be great here in the final moments. Levi, though, has found Deptra. And again, this is what ShadowNet have been looking for. Half the round still to go. They've got time to make this one happen. And so they've already set themselves up for a bit of an easier one here. But this evil eye here, Sushi, oh, look at the information he's getting. And look at the little tickles he's going to do too.
Attackers drop the diffuser.
And that taking Levi even lower on the health, so even if just a single burst of rounds is going to be the end of him, as Todd is just, he's waiting for the right opportunity to really go for it. I believe the camera was there, but oh, instead it's Levi that is just too quick on the QE peak. We'll be getting rid of Todd, and well, now it's a round that is now thoroughly in favor of ShadowNet.
Yeah, but Levi is still on almost no health. They do have a minute-ish to go for it. They can make the play. They got to make it carefully. Like you said, they had all that utility to just dump on the defenders, drain out any ADS that remains, any magnets that are still around. But of course, without Deptra, there's probably not a whole lot. So This is looking, again, favorable for ShadowNet. We have to be careful when we say that, though, because they have proven that it can be a little awkward, because Warden can make plays like this. He can sneak up, and again, almost get another defender as well. So Levi's out of the table, but Lag's now the one on low health. It's going to be another trade. They've lost their captain here on ShadowNet. It's all up to Shade and Sushi, and Shade is not looking very healthy. But look over at the other health bars. Maybe not so bad, but no! Just out of nowhere in the blink of an eye, Nova and Kage clean up the last defenders, and ShadowNet showing they're not out yet.
An RKO out of nowhere by Nova to finally make things work, as ShadowNet did manage to break the pace that Ferox so far managed to set things up for themselves. So now it's a 3-1. 2 more rounds to be played out in the first half of the final map for tonight. And ShadowNet will desperately need those 2 more points, because if Ferox will end up resulting in finding themselves that 5-1 scoreline, this is going to be now the point of desperation for ShadowNet, and they're going to be struggling for a fair few rounds. So now this is where they need to make the performance work before any further advancements.
Okay, so here we go. Now into the next few rounds, round number 5. ShadowNet, they've just picked up their 1-round win here. And like you were saying, it's going to need to keep happening if we don't want to leave them out of this half in a pretty uphill battle. But then again, it's kind of what we saw back on Consulate. We saw the 3 rounds straight away from ShadowNet, and then it was Ferox to bring them back. Maybe we have the reverse story here to come out again. But, I mean, like I was saying before this map even started, is that I honestly feel like Ferox have just figured ShadowNet out at this point.
It could be. It could be very much the fact that, yeah, the Ferox are just a whole new level. We're able to analyze kind of on the go of how ShadowNet do prefer to play. Or maybe it's the fact that ShadowNet have been rather more using just similar approaches every time. So it's rather the fact that they were just continuously kind of indicating where exactly they're going to be going for the push, and for Ferox rather to finally find that pattern. But if judging by the previous round, maybe ShadowNet managed to finally find that they managed to break out of that pace, break out of that, I guess, slugfest, and managed to finally find their rather much more preferred way of approaching here against Ferox.
A few risky plays, though, a few moments where they could have been caught out before, but in this round here, it looks like they're just going to be sitting down on the basement, and so Ferox have anchored up mostly here. Warden probably going to be going for a big roam here. In fact, just waiting on the other side of the bridge, and that was a mistake, as he's just been knocked to the ground. Luckily, it's in relative safety, so he should be able to be picked back up, but it's going to take a while to do this safely, and maybe not even possible at all. It's all on Shade here to hold the line here for Warden to be able to cross. I'm not even sure if he's going to be able to do that. They're even droning them all out too. Warden, he might just be in no man's land here, and it looks like Lags is going to confirm that. Deptra, though, continues the legend, and just everyone getting dropped by the next person here. But ShadowNet have made their way in, and with most of the health bars intact, and with only 1 defender remaining. Sushi looking to clutch it out here, but ShadowNet in a lightning fast round, much faster than we've seen from them before. Looks like they're going to clean up this round here.
Yeah, Sushi here will be looking at trying to delay some more time, albeit there's so much time here for ShadowNet that they can take that time. Whiffing a little bit of the shots and taking quite a fair bit of damage will be the result of that engagement. And well, with the breaches starting to come through, a desperate attempt at peeking through that very breach will be coming through. Just the sheer amount of gunfights and crossfires will be done, and all the peak from ShadowNet will be resolving it all. Nova, once again, to close it out, and ShadowNet on a 2-round streak now, looking like they just might be able to claim the first half back into a draw.
Yeah, and during that on defense for Ferox, Warden had the interesting idea to hang out on the other side of the breach, and it certainly didn't pay off. I think he wanted to be a little cheeky, find some sort of peak early on for himself, but yeah, well, sometimes there's a reason it's risky. There's a reason that sometimes people don't do it, and that situation there, leaving them in no man's land, definitely kicked things off a little awkward. They were putting a lot of effort into trying to find a way to bring them back up as well, and ShadowNet were having none of it. And then they walk in and just win a massive gunfight as well. So bringing the same kind of energy to this one as well. Blackbeard sticking around, even Amaru now popping up. So they just want to pop up, and just shoot the best bullets that anyone's ever seen.
Attackers need to locate and defuse bombs.
Yeah, they got all of the powerful gunning operators, and this is seeming to be exactly the thing that ShadowNet really need. They don't need a whole lot of utility. They just need to go in and gun for it, because like Sushi said, and like probably most of the players right now in LPL Pro would say, there's pretty much the whole roster of teams and players are just phenomenal gunners. And here, for Ferox, they're struggling to find those gunfights, or rather to find the right timings for those gunfights. And this is where they seem to be falling through on this half. But I'm rather going to be more curious as to how will Ferox perform once they're going to be going on offense. Because last time on the previous map we saw, they were just just a whole new team, a whole new pace for themselves. Whereas on defense, they looked a little bit lost for some of the possibilities. So here, Ferox, they need to try to keep up the fire, keep up the momentum here, rather than try to lure the attackers in.
Yeah, it's also Ferox's chance to throw the script out the window, grab that 4-2 half if they can. Definitely, they're not looking to have a repeat of what happened over on map 1, but reverse. So now they just want to take this one out. If they see how much firepower is coming out of ShadowNet, then surely they're going to be just sitting back, hunkering down, and just really relying on ShadowNet walking into them. There's now, Sushi, I think he's found exactly what he's looking for, but he's going to move away from it. Doesn't want to do anything else but relay information to his team. Going to go for some pre-fires as well, but clearly, as we can see, no one on the other side of that wall here. He's also made a whole lot of noise, so now ShadowNet have a good amount of information to go off.
Attackers drop the diffuser.
Yeah, as long as Sushi is able to keep up the information stream going for his team, he should allow Ferox to really make the big play, to really push it once again into that very mentioned 4-2 magical scoreline. So, curious if this will be actually the one to really perform. But for now, it's a repel from ShadowNet, as a bit odd on the decision, but apart from that, really is just, yeah, the preparation to really rush right onto the side. They did it before as well, and now they're going to do it again. Levi will be going in. It's already just a full-on flurry. Todd does manage to find a shot, but will be traded out straight away. Another return back, but oh, yet another frag and a trade out. But Nova does manage to return some even more fire, even more damage being traded out. Nova is down. Lags will be attempted to really get the fire back in, and Lags will be trying to get the plant down, as now Warden is the last man standing. 1v2 situation, as the plant will be fully down, but the pre-fire from Blackbeard is just too powerful. ShadowNet push this into the draw.
Yeah, wow, ShadowNet, they scoped out the whole area before moving in, and just like we were saying, they have the best bullets, so they just spam into a room where they know probably just one defender at most and take him out. Todd, though, somehow managing to grab one kill back could have been a pretty big disaster for ShadowNet with that plan, but luckily for them, they still had plenty of firepower to win the next gunfights, still managed to come out on top, even get the plant down. It got dicey when the plant was going down. As we hold our breath just a little bit, probably going to change, but the plant going down, they kind of forced themselves into a moment of 2v3 where I did worry, but it looks like they cancelled it in the middle of the plant to turn around and go for the fight. So it's good to know that ShadowNet can make those real time-sensitive, risky decisions. And did it happen? Am I I'm not missing something, am I here, Cthulhu?
Defenders protect.
Oh, the chunker pick has been tucked through. Yeah, we did get it. Levi is on the chunker with the shotgun as well. Oh boy. Oh boy, it feels
Praise
like
be,
Christmas.
everyone. Praise be, you are getting treated. You are getting treated to a beautiful, beautiful little play coming out from ShadowNet. I personally know how much the owner of ShadowNet loves this operator, Tachanka, so shout out to Land for this one. I wonder if he's even had some influence on this to bring out the Tachanka, but I mean, I think there's not really much else we can do but sit back and watch how it works. He's got to have the perfect position. He's definitely not going to be scouted out. They have to hide out where he is. There's a reason that Tachanka's not picked up a whole lot, and there's a lot of weaknesses here that ShadowNet are going to have to work around.
The bomb.
Yeah, but at the same time, if the chunker play is going to be working out, they're going to be able to really lock things down on some of the positions. Exactly this cigar shop with the with the ballistic shield as well, if one of the players will be able to bring one in, they should be able to make it really work here. The SASG with a suppressor nonetheless. Now that is a combination for the memes, really, to be brought out here by Shadownet. So I'm curious how this will work out.
Well, he's really got to hope he doesn't get droned out, although maybe they've got an idea of something's going on. They've got the pings going down. It looks like the LMG may have to be abandoned here, Lord Tachanka. But no, Levi, this is why Tachanka is unfortunately not picked up a whole lot. Very, very immobile. But now it's Ferox coming in. But Kage's actually managed to get a few kills of his own. And with that, maybe Shadownet can make it happen, but it's all going so quickly. Levi is down, lags down. Now it's just Nova, but Deptra, the double kill at the end. What on earth happened in that round?
Just a full-on cluster of pretty much everything really happening as Ferox just keep on pushing it into their favor. But oh man, I mean, Shadownet, they had a pretty decent idea as to how to potentially make the Chanka work, but I think the fact that there was quite a dump of the frag grenades pretty much solidified the fact that Chanka won't be seeing a whole lot of action, at least throughout that previous round. And well, seeing him out was pretty expected. So now, with a 3-4 scoreline, Ferox are back in the lead, but with a single point for themselves. So not that much far for Shadownet to really play for.
Yeah, look, Shadownet, you've won the fans for that round, absolutely. The only way you can win them more is by winning the round with Tachanka, but for now, it's back to normal. It's back to just getting up those round wins if they can. We can kind of throw the last round just off to the side a little bit because it was that wildly different. Now we get to really see what Shadownet are going to be like on defense here. I think that's going to be the real test, because remember that once we swap sides back on Consulate, like you said, that's where Ferox really started to get going and really started to pull ahead. So, I mean, Shadownet, I can see why they would try weird things like that, but at some point you've got to say it's too weird. At some point you've got to say that there is a reason that teams aren't picking Tachanka every round, but luckily I don't see them doing it again. I'd like to still see some of the weirdness, but for now it's just a pretty normal looking defense.
Yeah, nothing too out of norm really. The probably the only thing that is potentially missing is rather the Womai instead of a castle, but a castle setup has been seeing more and more popularity as of recently, with the fact that it can really slow down some of the approaches, it can really drain some of the utility, and it cuts off a fair few of the view lines as well. So here, Ferox, they will have a sledge for that very issue, so nothing out of norm, nothing too horrible really happening, and well, they won't be slowed down in any shape or form.
Yeah, pretty annoying when that happens as a castle, but hey, what can you do? So again, like, Shadownet just going to be pushed back a little bit. It looks like Ferox aren't going to have to work too hard to get their entrance into the building here, but Deptra is going to get all the angles to make sure this team can get in. They've also got Warden covering a lot of the room too. Warden even covering enough of the room to get Nova from downtown, and now that's going to open up just that other side of the map too. So all four members of Ferox now going to pile on into the building.
And that's what Ferox did before as well, during the Consulate as well. They would either pile in right onto the side, right onto all the positions, and then just start getting the frags. Already the opening by the Hibana of Deptra will be allowing to get another sightline there for Ferox, but for now they're being a little bit extra cautious. There's this quick white swing by Warden, but we'll be getting pretty much nothing. Another set of Excalibur charges should be able to get rid of that castle barricade and open another avenue for the advancement. But apart from that, Ferox are just holding steady and awaiting for any further push to come through, as Mingxi is just going to be prepping for the flank around.
Yeah, Mingxi definitely looking for something around where she's hanging out here, but so many members of Ferox in the same place. They're looking after their boy Shade here. He's got the diffuser. He needs to be looked after, so he's going to be hiding back while Sushi does all the hard work. And even through the window, Kage, he just gets completely blown apart, jump scared to death. And now 5 members of Ferox remain, not all very healthy, but it doesn't really matter if Warden can find these kills. He just continues firing and never goes for the reload until he's back behind the wall. And so did get a little bit of damage done, but here comes the plant. It's going out. Deptra's killed Minxie as well. And here it goes. Just lags. 40 seconds and a dream. Some low health members for sure. Maybe he'd be lucky to take them out first, but needs the surprise to take out people like Shade and Deptra. And he's going to need even more than that here because Warden's on the table too. And so another round under the belt for Ferox. That looked a lot more tidy and a lot more like what we were expecting.
Oh yeah. This is the Ferox once again reactivated, but it seems that it's the attacking side that is being so far the main point of winning here for Ferox, as the defense has been definitely a little bit of a lackluster performance occasionally, but yeah, offense is definitely something of a spectacle, really, that they have been performing. Only one round away from match point, though, for Ferox, and only 2 rounds away from finding the epic dub and the 3 points to really propel themselves further up on the board.
Yeah, I don't think there's going to be too much pressure here for ShadowNet. They kind of probably expected something like this happening, or at least it to be a hard matchup, so they kind of would be ready for this situation. But to grab that 1 point, it would be nice to bring Ferox down. That would be nice as well. And so I'm sure they'll be working pretty hard here to get these last few rounds. Ferox, though, they've got the point lead they need to feel comfortable, to not feel the pressure. They've also already got 1 map win under the table. That's great. So really, they're just a few steps away from just finishing off the 2-0 they should have got a few weeks ago. So really, it's just business as usual for Ferox here, but ShadowNet are going to make that business very hard. Or at least that's their plan right now. So again, nothing crazy like Tachanka coming out, but still changing things up. We've even got Ella now onto the table, so plenty of traps going to be sitting around the place. But I do see that there is no Jaeger.
Yeah, no Jaeger will be pretty much signaling that ShadowNet just not even going to bother really countering any of those grenades, and this is going to be the prime point and prime position for Todd to really start working on those grenades, because he was an absolute beast when it came down to just sending a few coconuts the right way. And well, this is where he just might be able to score a couple more of the grenade kills. But for now, it's Warden that is making the main entrance, and it is him on Ash. Once again, Shift Wing all over the place and just trying to find those early frags as quickly as possible.
Yeah, Warden not scared at all, although now that he's seen a few of those bullets fly by him, probably a little more cautious. Lags. And Minxie as well, looking to hold down that line too. Even Levi just below him as well, even looking to come up the stairs too. So Warden not going to be too keen on hanging around that path of entry. So very likely they're just going to be looking at the rest of the team here. Sushi just getting his position nice and set up so that he can move in, take a few easy shots if there were anyone there. But this is all about position now for Ferox, but they're getting closer and closer to that site. Oh man, they're clearing utility left, right, and center, and it just seems like it's not even hard at all.
Yeah, not a single bit of congestion being made here by ShadowNet. Because I was just about to say by Ferox, but Ferox are not even feeling it. Any kind of utility, don't care. No worries, just nothing. Lags is going to be trying to dodge all of those grenades, but instead it's just going to be bullets coming in from Sushi's side. And well, it's all up to Minxie to get that frag and keep holding the second floor, which he does able to pull off by taking out Warden, pushing it back into a 4 versus 4. But right now the health advantage is definitely there for ShadowNet.
Yeah, but is that going to be enough is the main question. They're not going to be able to survive things like flashbangs, any kind of utility thrown into the room, so they just don't have the protection of the ADS. You know, you've even got Habana just completely able to do breaches from far away. It's safe anyway, but like, now it's good pretty much anywhere. So again, it's like they have enough health for sure, but they're relying so hard on a lot of these traps, and already Deptra taking a lot of damage. But just around the corner, he finds Nova's head and cleans that one up. So again, the health keeps dropping, but it doesn't really matter if you get the kills. And now one person left. It's only Kage to survive before we go into match point. 15 seconds to go. He can maybe run the clock down a little bit, but there's the plant, and there's the kill, and there is the round for Ferox. So here we are, Cthulhu, match point. ShadowNet maybe making it look hard, but, well, Ferox are just coming in to say, here's why we're expected to get the 2-0.
Yeah, them being right now on that 3-round streak is something to really note about. The fact that it's just seeming that ShadowNet can't seem to be able to close out any round in the past 3. It's a phenomenal statement for Ferox that even though they had a bit of a bumpy beginning, this is where they start making their push. This is where they start making those big plays and pushing themselves further up on the ladder, because I do believe with them being on now 2 draws, and if they do manage to secure the win here, that does put them at about 5 points, which is just about scraping, I believe, 4th place?
Defenders, protect your bombs from being defused.
Yeah, 4th
by
or 3rd,
attackers.
possibly place, but yeah.
I
Either
think
way,
Ferox are
it
on,
will
what,
be...
like 2 points?
Pardon?
I was going to say, I think they're on 2 points at the moment because they've only had 2 draws so far. So, yeah, picking up the 2-0 here would send them up to 5 points, put them above. I think that puts them into tied. Yeah, they'd be tied 2nd place with all the other 2 teams that drew before. So, definitely wanting to snag this 2-0 here puts them in the top 4, but really it's the top 3 if they can get a win there. So yeah, really looking to grab the 2-0 here. But let's give ShadowNet one more chance here. They've got the shot here on defense one more time potentially. And why not start it off with a peek? Why not start it off with a free kill? Unfortunately, you don't always get those though, and so we're gonna have to go back to a normal match here, Levi.
Yeah, Levi wanted to get some early cheeky frags, but to no avail just yet. Maybe further down the line within this round, he might just be able to do it. But this is the final chance. This is the final position where ShadowNet could really maybe find themselves those points. But even then, if they do manage to find the win on this round, they will need 2 more rounds after this one to push this into overtime. And things are not really seeming too likely to happen. But alas, time is still yet to show. Final, potentially 2 minutes, as Warden is once again keeping at his ferocity, at his just aggression, and trying to cover as much ground as possible in the early stages of the round.
Yeah, dude, Warden is so confident in his plays. He runs forward and, checks the corners. Same kind of way Lags will do against Deptra. Checking the corners, making sure that Deptra doesn't get to do what he wants. That's the Hibana off the table now. That was their only form of hard breach now. So things may get a little trickier here for Ferox. If there's a round for ShadowNet to win, it could be this one.
Sure is. Todd, once again, the sledge and the frag grenade main coming through, but the C4 is going to be coming out, but won't be tagging the sledge player in any shape or form. Instead, it's going to be Nova to bring in the fire, taking out Warden, the main aggressor of Ferox, but there's still plenty of damage to be dealt. Lags, taking so much damage there and can't seem to really return fire in any shape or form. Kage, though, to return even more damage, as Todd finally does manage to finish off Lags. And well, in a 2v4, things are definitely not looking all so pretty for Ferox, but maybe, just maybe, we might be seeing them to come back. Shade is very much detached from his teammate, and well, for the remainder of ShadowNet, they managed to fall back right back to the site.
Yeah, that's the main problem is, Ferox, their duo is not close enough together. It's going to take too long for them to get there as well, so they just have to make these individual pushes and just hope they time them right here. They're even going to go for a little bit of a run out. That's a big drop, but he gets all the way down to the floor, so they have to go reposition themselves quite hard here to make it onto the point. But Shade, it was worth it. He picks up a kill, but is it going to be enough? There's not a lot of time left. They got to go in. Kage and Nova, not full health. This could be where they can take out a win here. They don't have a lot of utility left to run off. Even the cameras are still up, but not for too long. And now, here we go. They've got 10 seconds to make these frags. Nova, he's going to find one, and he shuts down Shade. Now it's all up to Todd, and Todd will not manage to find that one. ShadowNet, they stay alive here in round 10.
Yeah, not falling out and not letting Ferox to claim any more rounds at the very least. For now, they managed to shut down the bleed. So far, it's been a pretty interesting pattern so far, Smite. First 3 rounds to go into the Ferox side, then next 3 rounds to go into the hands of ShadowNet, and then another 3 rounds for Ferox. So if reading by the script, ShadowNet should get themselves another 3 rounds here, and well, this could be posing a bit of a trouble for Ferox, given that after 2 rounds, well, it's going to be overtime.
Well, you got to remember the other script, Cthulhu, is that ShadowNet brought it 5-6 last time, and they almost managed to bring it into overtime. So if you look at the script, they'd win this round too. But looking at their defense, again, it changes up. You've got Pulse now joining the party. They're going back to the Goyo as well, so they really want to try and run the clock down. I don't disagree with that idea here. Wasting the time against Ferox is quite nice. Sometimes Ferox take a little bit of time, but it only really seems to be if they lose someone at the start. If it's someone like Deptra who gets just eliminated very early on, then Ferox are a little slower. But when it's Ferox who get the opening frag, especially if it's Ferox that get the opening frag, rounds go very quickly. So this time burning strat that it looks like ShadowNet are going for, the 20-second meta strat here, at least with the Goyo, then
10 seconds.
at least it's not all eggs in one basket, because you've always got Pulse on that C4.
Insertion.
Yeah, C4s are going to be quite a huge thing. 3 players
Defuse a bomb.
with the explosives going to be able to deal quite some damage to the ranks of Ferox if they will be able to place those explosives in the right position. But on the side of Ferox, they got plentiful amount of utility for pretty much each and every kind of situation.
Oh man, no,
Minxie.
Minxie did not have. Yeah, she didn't have the view outside, and so maybe she heard something going on around. But it's going to be Ferox just scaling up to the roof, going for that vertical play down, the drop downs. Nothing too surprising. Again, just going to drone it out, make sure they've got all their eggs in one basket. Well, actually, no. What's the other saying? Everything's sorted out. All their grocery in one shopping bag here. That's I made that one up. Levi though. Levi is going to make his own history here. No, he's been so patient and it doesn't pay off. Oh, it's such a shame to see such a good virtue not pay off.
Yeah, unfortunately for Levi, at least yet, there won't be any payout for his efforts. There is Minxie right under the new balcony, and the new hatch balcony, as well as there's the Levi right down below. So 2 C4s that can be utilized amidst all of the chaos could really throw a spanner in the works of Ferox. And oh man, please somebody peek. There it is. Kage will get finally peeked by Todd, and well, Todd just needs to not waffle and will be able to finally hit the shots. That is the magnets. That is the magnets of the board, and the Wamai gone as well. Lags though to respond onto Sushi. That is the Zofia gone and out, and that is quite a hefty amount of utility as well now, completely deleted.
Loading bag.
So the path opening up quite a bit here, especially with the magnets, like you said, going down. They should have a way to find their way in. Remember, there's no Jaeger either, so all those projectiles, all of Todd's magical throwing arm, that's all going to be now on the table here for Ferox. And Deptra, he almost found it, but unfortunately none of those shots connecting. Going to go for the breach instead, seeing if he can find a way to bait him out, find a way to get a shot in there, but they should be backing away from it. Shade now going to drop down, just firing into the corner here, firing through the wall. But of course, no one on the other side of it for now, at least not firing at him. And so it is Ferox just getting the positions, but they're going to have to make the push. But Nova poked his head out at the wrong time as Warden was just looking right down the stairs at that very second. And now with only 3 defenders remaining, they better hope they still have those C4s, and they better hope they can find the kills with them, because Deptra is shutting them down one by one. It's just Minxie and Levi left, and Levi is very pinned down here. He doesn't have any C4 left. He's just got to hope his gun can do the job, and it cannot. Now all up to Minxie, the captain here, the last one surviving, but it will be Ferox taking out map 2, grabbing that 2-0 and shooting themselves up that leaderboard.
Oh man, massive congratulations to Ferox finally being able to break the curse of the draws for themselves, as this is a phenomenal win there for themselves, as they're going to be propelling themselves up high on the leaderboard this time.
Yeah, and that's, again, it's sort of where we wanted to see Ferox a week or two ago. They've been kind of plagued by some of these draws, just the nature of the fact that a 2-0 gets you 3 points, a draw only getting you 1 point. It has really kind of hit them with a bit of a snag. And so now they can finally break out of that. They're now up there with a bunch of the other teams, I believe, like I was saying before, should be, if my math is correct, tied up there in the second place spot with the other, with Skyfire and Bazaar, who played earlier today. So they should all be sitting on 5 points by now. But regardless, though, it's broken Ferox away from the bottom half of the table. But let's talk, before we talk any more about Ferox, let's talk ShadowNet, because they pulled out some really good stuff today. And I think everyone was kind of writing them off in this matchup, but they really showed a good performance.
Yeah, ShadowNet did quite a few good plays there. They've managed to get some of the really unconventional plays, but ultimately at the end it was Ferox that managed to come out victorious here.
Yeah, that's right. And so, speaking of Ferox, we've got old mate Sushi here, ready for an interview. Welcome back to the interview, Sushi.
Hello, guys. How are you?
Hello. Welcome along. So let's get right into it. 2-0. You guys finally managed to snag that one, getting that 3 points. So first off, just what's going through your head? Is this what you were expecting?
Yes. Theoretically, we should be winning that. So yes. That like I'm not shocked, and I'm happy, obviously, but yeah, pretty good.
Okay. So it was pretty much in your head even before the match even started. You were expecting that this is the 2-0. This is what will propel you guys up on the leaderboard. So was it the kind of mentality that you kind of kept with the rest of the match?
I can't talk for my teammates. I have no idea what they're thinking, but like for me, it was just like we're getting 2-0'd or I'm upset. Like that's pretty much it.
Okay, so I actually want to jump in here, because just on top of that, how did it feel when ShadowNet opened up the series with a 3-round streak? Were you guys suddenly starting to sweat a little bit? Were you thinking, oh no, are we not going to get the 2-0?
We were just sleeping at the wheel, honestly. Like, we were coming into that, like, honestly, like, we were a little bit tired. That's pretty much the best way to describe how we played, because we just weren't actually paying attention to the important stuff. Like, literally the second or third round, they planted, and we only got the call saying, I think they might be in, as, like, a second before they planted. Like, we just weren't paying attention at all, so... I mean, we just woke up, and Consulate's like attacker-sided, sure, but it is what it is. I guess.
Yeah, actually, I have a question on that one, because it seemed that kind of, the defense curse, you could say, to a certain degree, was kind of following through both Consulate and Cafe, where kind of on defense, it seemed that you guys will be kind of trading blows with ShadowNet, but the moment the attack kicked in, both on Consulate and Cafe again, you just guys went into full-on overdrive. Kind of, would you be able to run us through what was happening there?
Yeah, mostly we obviously we prefer attacking against teams we're not really comfortable against, because you can pick your gunfights and you can pick where you want the gunfights to happen. Really, when you're defending against a team you have no real understanding of, or no VODs on, it's like you don't know what's about to happen, so you'll often lose one pick, which leads to another pick, and then you lose the round off those two picks because you didn't understand where they were pushing from. So attacks, we were able to play our own game in a sense. So yeah.
All right. Well, Ferox, look, I mean, Sushi and Ferox, congratulations on your win. But before we go, I just want one final thought from you. What was going through your heads when you saw that Tachanka get locked in?
Okay, we had decided to rush.
I think that answers.
Tachanka was going to be a 6th pick, honestly. And someone made the call to Tachanka in shop, and I have never been more scared in my life, because I thought I was about to just get domed by Tachanka and get clipped on Twitter. I thought that was about to happen. So
well,
it was
luckily for you guys, luckily for you guys, pretty much the exact opposite happened. You cleaned it up pretty well. So congratulations on picking up the 2-0, and good luck for next week.
All right, cheers. Have a good one.
All right, real interesting there. And I always love getting Sushi on the interview. He's always a real character, and I love how his answer to 2 of the questions were instantly to just laugh.
Yeah, that I mean, I would imagine that the like you mentioned, the fear of having the clip kind of go on Twitter and end up shaming him for falling to the sheer just the might of Chanka could have been quite scary. I mean, in general, like the moment you peek out, you try to aim for the head, and there's a massive ass shield just waiting on the opposite side with a big machine gun aimed at your head. I would be pretty scared as well. Not gonna lie.
Yeah. So I guess the answer is just never peek out and just chuck a bunch of ground there, and that totally works out. But hey, there it is. At the end of the day, that was only one round, and Ferox still managed to sweep quite a lot of the other ones, earning themselves a strong 2-0. Unfortunately for ShadowNet, though, they are going to be sitting down there at the bottom of the table. They're going to have to look forward to next week to try and get themselves a few more points. But that is pretty much it. So let's take a look at what we've seen tonight. We actually opened up with what we did call being a close match. 1-1 here, Skyfire and Bazaar Gaming, although the actual maps could not be more different. We literally had a 7-0 in map number 2 there. Then we had ShadowNet and Ferox, which we just saw Ferox grab that quick 2-0 on, although a lot of people will say ShadowNet made them work for it, so we definitely have to shout them out for that game there. But Cthulhu, we're nearing the end of the day, so let's take one last look at that leaderboard just to confirm everything we were looking at. Got Exto Gaming still sitting there at 9 points. The next closest team, Skyfire, Bazaar, Ferox, all at 5 points, tied for second place. So that is already super spicy. Then you got Bans and PC419 just tailing behind on 3 and 2 points, and ShadowNet and Blessed still yet to pick up any more points after their only draw.
Yeah, here it's a fair few storylines are kind of forming up, but next week we got some real spicy stuff coming right up. Ferox versus Blessed, where Ferox are going to be looking to grant themselves yet another set of two map wins or 3 points, and then Bans versus PC419, where one of the teams will have to really propel themselves up from that kind of the strut of barely any points.
Yeah, it definitely feels like it's again going to be a little business as usual for Ferox. So this is where they're a little, the first few weeks of only tying matches, they get the other end of it here. They get some of the easier teams where they can kind of come in, clean up, get the 2-0s. Sure, it didn't look as easy for against ShadowNet tonight, but at the end of the day, it's still the 2-0 that they were expected to get. So they'll get another shot at that for next week. And then, like you said, the other near bottom of the table match is going to be a good one to watch too, where they are both going to have to try and fight to get far ahead, both Bats and PC419. But everyone, we're going to have to wait a whole week for that one because we're done for that. Rainbow Six Siege, all done and dusted for week number 3. So make sure you tune in next week, Tuesday and Wednesday at 8:30 p.m. New Zealand time for more action. And thanks to Vodafone for helping us run everything here tonight. And we'll see you guys all next week.